I'm not reading that gamer tag on stream, but thank you for the follow anyway. No Bransbo, Smidge beat you at a first this time around. Hello, everybody. Smidge and Jamie and Brant and Goddess of Toast. And Jamie again. And Moises and Debbie. And Bab. Why, hello, Bab. You're early? To be early is to be on time. No, thanks for being here. And Hecka. Hello, Pug Guess. Why are we only guessing pugs? I suppose it's a dilemma. Alright. Hello, controller. Oh, okay, you have to pause it before it'll stop. Gem should add channel points. That, I believe, is an affiliate feature. And we are not affiliate on Twitch. I've explained this before, but there's better monetization for the content that I'm doing on YouTube. And so the problem with affiliate is that it prevents me from multi-streaming. It prevents me from streaming both to YouTube and to Twitch at the same time. I would definitely go affiliate on Twitch if that weren't the case. But as such, it's more advantageous for me not to do that. The Bravest account was, for a time. We stopped that after a little while to experiment with multi-streaming. And that was even before the switch to Squid School. Squid School has always not been affiliate. Where I live, 1 minute after something starts, like a party is too late. Does that mean you're German? I've heard that Germany is like that, where everything is exactly on time. If you are a minute early, you slow down so that you get there on time. Like that sort of precision, which sounds exhausting to me personally, but I did not grow up in that environment, and so who knows? Hi, Tao! And hi, Glowstick. And hi, Banky. And Annie. Alright. Let me in a quad this time. Yeah, Bab, so Cactos is not going to be available for the league session today. So I'm assuming Devi's going to hop in, and if Bab wanted to, we could also probably have Bab in there. I'm going to double check with 16-bit, make sure that they're available to join. But, yeah, come on in. Oh, I'm Midwestern. Okay. Interesting. I was also born in the Midwest and experienced no such strictness, but there are a lot of places in the Midwest. Okay. Tent is rusty, but you don't have to tent. Tent is just something that's... Oh, you're doing it anyways. Okay. So you're representing on behalf of Cactos. You can't just say Yo Bab tent. I didn't say Yo Bab tent. What? Oh, Devi said that. Oh, okay, okay. I missed one. Well, nobody's hopping in the waiting room, VC. So, we can't get this kicked off until somebody does. In the meantime, though, you are being watched. Monitored, as it were.
Who needs waiting room VC when you can just jump in, right?
There you go. We have been trying to give Devi this privilege for an embarrassingly long amount of time, and it has finally been resolved.
actually have some kind of power, whether I didn't before, and then people thought I had the power, and then I had to refer to somebody else, so now we have changed that.
Yo, somebody else is also taking credit for saying Yo Bab tent, so I think
Oh.
Bab's gonna be tenting. Not. Oh, okay. I got you, Bab.
I don't know, Paris. I don't know. I don't see a past Yo Bab tent other than my own.
Who
and
dragged
then
Banky
them
up?
saying it. That wasn't me.
Hold up. What role does Banky have that's letting him do that? That shouldn't be a thing. Intriguing.
Oh, Jamie did it because he thought Banky was a reviewee.
That is not.
No,
not the
Jamie.
case.
No.
Zucchini's now trying their luck as well. All right, I'm not seeing any response here from 16-bit. So, Jamie, if you want to jump in too, come on, join the fun.
The name of the first time chatter in Twitch right now.
Jeffrey Domestic Chicken.
Yes. I know it's spelt different, but you know.
Well, welcome, chicken friend.
That would be when what is it? Whenever Avery say that's that would be literally Jem's Chicken Squad name.
All
I don't
right,
remember the password. What's the password?
I'm gonna DM you,
Okay.
and then
I'll be
you're
ready
not gonna
for a
read it out
minute.
loud on stream, so that everybody knows what the password is.
No
All right,
promises.
I have faith. All right. In the meantime, though, here is a new friend. So this kitty right here is a celebrity. All right. So this cat is the voice actor for the cat from the video game Stray.
Yo, that's crazy.
She's got her little red carpet rolled out underneath her. Give us 3 of the numbers. I'll do you even better than that. I'll give you all 9 of them, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 0 is a secret. It doesn't exist. All right. And here is Darwin for the fans for a short time. Darwin is solely Art's pupper and has his own Instagram page.
Oh boy.
Here, one second. Let me pull this up. I had it written in here somewhere. There we go. Our
That is not the end button.
friend Darwin. There.
Darwin.
This is the Instagram page for Darwin here. So if you want more pictures of this particular pupper, go and give that a follow.
Oh, this is a I know these people. What'd they say their name was? Hang on. Rabid.
Oh, they were in our group for Super Jump. I think they were the other team that made Gamma Bracket with us. Okay. Babs starting on
Expect
left.
two,
Charger in
mid
mid.
one.
They're watching me right hard.
Halfway to armor.
The sprinkler in front of me.
Yeah, I got it.
Thanks.
Armor's ready.
Babs pushing right.
Babs initiating.
One really weak, 2 in the 3 in freezer actually.
For one down.
Hit him one twice on left. Put you down.
Oh,
Okay.
He's on
I
left.
got popped.
Got Swift. I'm gonna go down though.
One rushing right court. I might need to jump out of this. What? Oh, there's a bomb around the corner, I guess.
Yep, there's also a machine under our snipe, so I can't do much here.
We're two down.
Yeah. Get that.
Oh, guess who's on our snipe?
CDS. Let's rush in from
have
left
armor.
when we are ready.
Yeah, careful. Yeah. That's
One
that.
down on tower.
Teaching.
Jetting into mid. Got one.
There you go.
Still another one left. Jetting.
That's
Nice.
that.
3 down.
Yeah,
I think there's one still by our snipe. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, one on the
Yes.
street. One on the street.
Just you there.
Oh,
Careful,
wow.
Abby. Oh,
We need paint around our freezer and like in front of snipe and stuff before we start pushing out into mid.
Okay.
Like play tower path, so we're not rushing too far out before we have paint to work with.
One more on the right, Squiff.
Yeah, it's Swift.
There's a chicken chasing it, but I'm gonna grab tower and start moving it. They're 2 down. Oh!
Nice throw.
Oh, Bab with the hammer snipe.
Armor's almost ready. It's up. Popping it.
Okay.
CDS drop left.
Left corner.
I'm pushing it.
left
I'm
corner.
pushing it. Got him.
Oh boy, this is
There
gonna
you
be
go.
rough. There's 2 in front of me.
Just
Yep,
about
I
as
might
sneaking in an
die.
angle. You're good. You're good.
Left, top left.
Pushing for lead. All right, we're through. I'm down.
Okay, I'm
Think
just
about-
I'm just gonna keep mid control because there's
One
one,
right
on the right.
closed.
There's 2.
I'm coming to help Debbie if they push.
Yes, they're going to. There they are. I'm trying to get out now. Please.
Swift right
I'm on the
close.
left.
Right
Bab's
court.
on the left. Oh,
Almost
keep
Bab.
pushing
Swift
the
got me
left
right.
here.
Swift's right court still.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I traded.
This is me. I'm just gonna try to get armor. Ready? How close are we to other stuff?
Not even.
Not very. I'm in on right behind tower.
Okay, there's a minute 40
They
left.
dropped and pushed me out.
Shoots.
Uh-oh. That armor saved my life. Thank you. There's a machine below me, by the way.
Those are left.
We're 2 down. Machine down, nice.
Nice.
Oh, behind.
Got him.
Nice
you go.
stack.
Swift
stack.
down.
Tower.
2 for 2.
Two window, freezer.
Push you, Bab.
Oh no.
Tower, tower, tower.
No.
Dang it.
Swift right.
It's
Ow.
in.
Yeah, we need to do something about that Swiffer. They're taking that position for free every time.
The Swift is taking it alone on the right side.
But we're not contesting it.
Nope. We don't really have the people to.
Got one.
at the moment.
Last 40. Armor's almost ready. It's ready.
Jimmy, watch out.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're 1 down.
Got
I'm
one.
backing up.
Yeah.
Swift is behind us.
Swift behind. Hit him once.
What's that?
There's 2 here, by the
Got
way.
one.
Nice.
Got another. Just
This is
machine.
Machine.
Okay, I'll grab. Jim, you gotta go play.
He's
Or-
behind.
Oh yeah. Ah, this is bad for me.
Got one.
I'm dead.
Swift got me.
They're
I'm down.
behind the tower.
Swift top left. Yeah, it's just bad.
It- Pekka, that Aaron you might know as the player from Yume Stars, formerly Yume Stars.
Hubby love a wub, says Dodd Bat. So it's like Dad Bot, but mixed up, I think?
What happened to Yume stars? I think they're still there. It's just Aaron left.
Nah, KS. Different day. Once again, I am tired. My stomach hurts and I can't sleep. So thank you for string. Oh, why? This cannot be a regular thing with you, okay? Stop make tummy hurt. Don't do that. Whatever you're doing, I guess. And before they have some chronic medical condition that always makes their stomach hurt, and I'm being a huge jerk, but. Hello, Will C.
Oh.
Alrighty.
We might have. Okay. We'll talk about it after the game.
Good?
Yeah. No, I'm good to play. Just.
Two on left.
I'm down to charger behind tower.
Yeah.
They popped armor. We're 2 down. They're pushing Bab. Still another one, Bab.
I think Bab's alone.
Nice.
Yeah.
2v1.
We were all respawning.
You got
It's Ray down.
Nice.
1 in court. Cut him
Hi,
off.
Jamie.
There we go. Good job. 1 more mid.
go.
2 right. 1 right stack.
Charger moved up, by the way. I'm in risk of getting sniped.
Traded. 2 right stack.
See him. He's coming up on the
Down.
tower. Left stack now. Careful, Bob.
Jamie, ride. Never mind. Don't ride. Where is... There.
It's only 2. One's on right stack. 2 left.
I
They popped
just got
armor.
right
I'm not.
in the
I'm not pushing this. I am last. 1 underneath streets. L3. They have jet. Be careful.
middle. I got sniped.
Traded tower.
2 down.
Okay, we're all together. Missiles are out. Start pushing back in.
Weak. One's pushing in from mid. Jamie, you're in trouble.
I'm good.
One back at tower. Hit him twice. Got him. Another one tower.
They're weak.
On tower, got me. Get some paint up there. Okay, we've got armor.
Yeah, ugh. Yeah, I'm hitting a lot of shots on people. We just can't finish them off. Watch out!
Yeah, right stack got me. Close, out of cover.
I'm just doomed here.
Let's try to paint up a little bit more and like have more specials and things ready to go before we push in. Feels like we're always at paint disadvantage. I've got Jet ready to go.
I'm nowhere near
missiles.
armor.
Charger's left stack.
Push the shot to one of the sides of the tower. There we go. Thank you. Got one.
Charger still left stack, I think.
There's 3 on the left. I have armor used because we're stuck. We need it.
Pushing in left.
Charger popped me.
3 around me.
It can't right now, Bab. Yeah. Death to me.
Charger on left. I'm missiled. They're in on left.
Charger's got the peek on me. There we go. Charger's behind the tower. 1. Whee! Left stack. Weak. There we go.
Okay, paints. Paints.
Oh, left.
Charger's
Charger
left
also
street.
left.
Play
I have
tower
armor.
path for now. The tower's not out to mid yet. We don't need to be there yet.
I'm gonna use armor. Just I gotta push in on this charger somehow.
Okay, jetting. One behind Bab. There were 2 on right.
Charger jumped out. Okay.
Charger's top left. We need to pressure that.
Yeah, I'm missiled right now. I can't go in too far.
Got 1.
I'm gonna go down here. Dunzos for me.
Got 1. 1 street left.
Behind, it's just Bab.
Is that your cat, Gem? No, it is not. I have not shown a picture of my cat yet today. You did, Soli. We were repping Darwin's Instagram today. Oh, 1 second. Let me check something. Okay. Yeah, we'll just keep going with this at this point. So, what's going on is I made a whoops. There is a record of me telling a third person that we do their VOD review on the 26th, and it didn't end up on my schedule, so I never caught it. So I'm thinking of potentially just extending today to 1 more person and just making it a slightly longer stream. I'm thinking I have time to do that because I don't want to, back things up too much longer. Like they've already waited probably a week and a half for this at least. So, and there's the successful stream snipe. I'm just gonna pop into their VC down here in the Squid School Discord so we can listen in on them.
Here, I'll drag them all up.
Why, hello
I have to
there.
get my Twitch clip. Yo, hi.
And I'm back.
Welcome back. How's your adventure?
Oh, it was very exciting, full of intrigue
The new Indiana
and,
Jones?
and romance and,
Got
and
1 left.
fishing.
Got 1
Hi,
left.
Bray. Bring the left.
All right, I'm headed left. Push street, push street.
Got
Nice.
Cat removing. 2 on paper towels.
Yeah, one's on the right below me. I might die.
Jetting
1
snipe.
in front of me. Halfway to my missiles.
One above us.
Got one. Got two.
Nice.
This
Another one,
96.
snipe. Or TP or something.
I see him. He's in the street. Right now.
Got him.
He's linked to eight.
Catcher's weak. Ah, I didn't get him.
One's coming for me on the behind the right stack.
Oh, I can't use power weapon.
It's okay, I'm gonna dance.
Yay.
And we did it.
Bravo! Gotta love the dance.
Thanks for the
Dance,
follow,
whoever
Silver
was in
Sky.
Go stick.
Okay, backing up into chat. Does the Wakana, oh, in front of gem mean anything that's for aesthetic? It is the, it's short for watercolor, which is the name of my competitive team. Watercolor.
Wow, wow.
It's actually exactly the same syllable as the first syllable of Waluigi's name. It's kind of beautiful. Watercolor.
Oh, oh, oh. Another team,
Another adept.
but I cannot remember what tag this is for the life of me. It's not red sus, Bab.
Eclipse. I don't know.
Yeah, missiles are a very good special.
A lot of bomb pressure up on the stack.
Dropping left close. They're weak.
I don't know where
They
they went.
jumped. I'm taking their street. There's one
Watch
watching
the
me. I
left
gotta back
still.
up. Gotta back up. One on left. Got him. Still two left street. Nice. One more.
I died to a bomb. I got stuck on a ledge.
All right, careful.
This is
2v2.
ready.
And they've got specials over us.
15 missiles. Missiled all four. One's up on three on left.
There's a ray. More coming left. I hit one with a burst.
Ah, I'm down to the jet.
There's someone on the ah no!
Babs alone.
I got stuck in the missiles.
Got one. Ray's on right stack.
Yeah, Ray's on
Pressure
me.
it.
I am once again down. They're all on the back
We're one
left
down.
right
Careful.
now.
I've got jet ready. I'm gonna maintain it. Careful, Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. That's one down. Let's start moving in. Two on right stack.
Two right, two left. Just lean to two left.
Keep an eye in front of left for me. There's one here. Thank you. Another one.
Another? Okay.
There's another one.
Got him.
There's two there.
Bab is the last. Or first up.
Left stack's already compromised. Pushing them off.
I've
Half the
got
ray.
one on right.
Oh, I didn't see the chicken.
Got one.
Two down.
Jet
In the
is
middle.
their street.
I see him. Bab is down on right stack.
Traded.
Just hold one on right stack, one left.
Okay. Just two left actually.
Two left, okay.
They moved to right.
I'm moving to Bab. There's one in mid stopping me.
Got one.
Nice. Pressuring left
Right
streets.
stack with armor. Watch out, they have armor.
I broke off.
I'm
on
fighting.
armor.
I'm fighting right. One drop left. One drop left on us. Bab.
Raid.
Might want to jump out, Bab. I don't think we have any follow-up on those missiles.
Yeah, no, I just... Got one.
There's
Okay,
three
all
top
left, all left. Push left.
I got the jet.
Got one.
3 down. I have
Anyone in
Ray.
the corner?
Nice.
One.
Just a bucket, and I'm jetting them.
Now we're right, left, to right. Two to the right, two left.
Someone grab tower. I'm gonna Ray.
On it.
I'm on. Okay. I'm done.
I'm jumping across.
There's one backside on me, but I might be able to get him.
Got jet.
You know, I did not. Coming from behind is gonna be the zap. They're coming through freezer right now. Right stack, right stack.
Got one. I'm down from behind. Alright, dead push, but good stuff. Got the 18 there. Let's get control of mid again. You have no way. Oh, yeah, good jump, good jump.
Jump back into you, Bab.
Got one. The try
One
was
in
one
freezer.
shot. Left side, one sharking. Try.
Yeah, I see him. Last 20.
Jetting. Survival. Help left.
We're 2 down. Jamie, don't
Don't
go
go
in.
in, don't go
Do
in.
not
No,
go
no,
in.
I'm not.
I'm backing up. A lot
Stay
of
safe,
pressure on
play
the
for
right.
special. We do not need to fight very soon.
Yeah, I have Ray. They have Ray.
Let them blow their specials.
That's what I'm doing. Okay, I have Ray. When their specials are over, I'm raying. Here we go.
Moving in, they just popped armor.
Yep. I missed with all 4.
Tower's weak.
There you go.
Good job, good job. Should be the voice actor for Waluigi. I've had a lot of time to practice that particular line. Thankfully, it's one of his only lines.
What's the other one?
That does not imply that there's only one other one, but
You said one of his only lines.
one of his only lines. Yes, that means there might be more than one other line.
Yeah. So what are the others?
You said, what is the other one?
Okay, what? Give me an example of another one that he has.
Waluigi number 1!
Those various laughs. Oh, Astra.
How did you find... To anyone who will answer, how did you find a competitive team to play in? I can't find anything that I can play in, let alone in my time zone. So... It was kind of coincidental. I ran into a streamer by the name of Supercell, who happened to be friends with Devi, among some others. And a couple of them were interested in getting into competitive, Devi included. And at the time, I was starting to try and form a team with somebody else named Toxic. And between us and the Grillers, which is what their team had already been called, we decided to just merge and become one team together. And the Grillers was a much cooler name than Midnight, which was already taken, by the way, by a different team even at the time.
There's a brush here.
So we
I
decided
don't
to
know.
just take their branding instead.
Get on that flat.
Tetra's below, focus them. Tetra's still down there? Yeah, they are.
Someone's.
Traded them. Splash behind tower. They popped
The
bomber.
rush.
Or jet. Jet splash.
Oh, Splatland's one
Make
shot.
sure we're painting
Oh,
one
no.
behind tower, one behind tower. The missile.
Yeah, but
One trying to clear me from wall.
Oh yeah, incoming, heads up.
Tetra's on right.
On me.
One on left.
Oh,
And then
Jet got me left.
Down.
two down.
Let's stall the tower for a bit.
Halfway
Oh, I'm
to
getting
missiles.
rushed immediately. Someone come up top. Someone come up top.
2.
Thank
Nice.
you.
Close
Fab.
down.
That was great.
Two.
One more tower. Brush. Right stack. Going back.
He's back up to flat.
They've got help.
There's only 2 bats.
Jetting into bats. Nice.
There you go.
There's a sprinkler on the right.
Yeah, they might be trying to come out right for some reason.
I do have a stingray.
One on me bats. Tetris. Got him.
Nice. Someone's at their lock.
Another
Rush
one?
coming
Let's
down
take you
behind you,
back
Fab.
again.
Behind you, behind you. I don't want to die here, Ivory. Give me a second. Oh, okay.
Shred.
Someone take
Flash
tower
on
for a
me
moment.
somewhere.
I'm holding position up on bats.
Flash down.
It's like 3 up there. Okay, I'm coming, Bab. You can go.
Heavy's watching
Pleasure.
tower.
So is 3 others.
Got 2.
Just you, Jamie. Might want to see if you can give John. Okay.
I couldn't. I thought I could get another pick. But I could not.
I did throw a burst bomb. But
Tetris
alas.
dropped into mid. Hit him twice.
Just
They're
focus
back
the
up
left
to-
pressure. Stop,
Yeah,
stop
I'm just
the
gonna
tower and
focus
go
the
left
tower.
pressure.
Yeah. Oh, there's one on the tower.
Oh, I
I
got ink at snipe.
did not realize that. I should have.
There are
Bab, I'm coming
there
out.
are 2 back right and 2 coming from their snipe.
It's just you in there, Bab. Yeah, good job. Let's
minute
focus
20.
defending right.
Yeah, I'm gonna paint for Ray. One coming up.
2. There you go.
Good pick. That's 2. One on tower still. They backed up to the right stack. I'm gonna push right stack.
Oh no, that rushes.
One on left stack
There
now.
is someone on the left.
Rush
I think
back
that's
up to
remix.
Brush was on their
Yeah.
snipe. Yeah, remix is on left. One dropped on me. Help right.
Oh, someone's
down.
still left.
There's only 2 left.
On my ouch.
2 dropped right. Oh, that's a brush. Gosh darn it.
Got the
Still one
splash.
right and one coming from mid. From mid. Wall.
I've made him
There you
use
go.
the block.
Good job. Yeah, that was all we needed
Last
to do.
loading.
Booyah incoming.
That's on my face! Hello, Tetris. I missed.
That's okay.
Ah, shoot.
They did too.
Wait. Slightly missed my shots. Careful of these Russians. There you go.
Underwall,
one's
underwall,
me
got him.
somewhere? Yeah.
There you go. Oh, I love that song.
What?
Wonderwall.
That's a song?
Wonderwall is, yes. It's one of the more popular acoustic guitar songs of all time.
I used that too early, but that's fine.
On tower 1. Weak. Okay, that's fine. But Kepler, the general way that most people will find their teams is through free agent posts and team posts. Those are hosted on a whole bunch of major Splatoon Discord servers. So things like Academy. We've got one in Squid School. Not that it's super widely used there right now, but that's one of them. There's a Discord specifically for free agency. What I would recommend is getting into the, if you haven't found it, Inkopolis Crosswalk Discord. That one has links to all of the other ones that are going to be important.
Yeah, what is it? The FA thing has been used for team pickups a couple times already, so it does. People are using it in the server.
Hello, Oreo Queen. And Nano Macaroon, thank you, but I think that's a common misconception of what skill is actually involved in playing games like this. My reaction time is perfectly average. It's just like 0.25 like everybody else's. What's really happening here is that I have more game knowledge than the average player, and so I've already like got the flowchart kind of distilled down so that I know I'm looking for this one stimuli, this one particular thing, and as soon as I see that, I know exactly what I need to do next.
Already 1 bamboo on the right, 3 mid. I'm getting pushed from locker.
Yeah, they got me with armor.
I'm the last one alive.
Unfortunate timing on the armor.
I I see
Watch
you,
out for missiles
Adapt.
behind.
I'm gonna ray after missiles.
Zero
Okay, never
combats.
mind.
Oh, mushroom. No.
Okay, well,
Alright. Bamboo still
one.
on right somewhere. Got him.
there's a bunch that are weak. On mushroom.
Last one, splashdown.
Mushroom.
They got
That's
me.
not mushroom.
I can't aim. Blocker.
They backed up to
I
mid.
have no
Right
aim.
stacks now. Paint up,
I
paint
ran
out.
out of...
Move forward, move forward.
Yeah, I see you. There's a
Help
bamboo
Bab,
on
help
the
Bab on right.
I couldn't, it's a bamboo.
Still 2 on our bats. We're gonna need to contest that at some point because I can't get out otherwise.
Oh shoot, I thought that was gonna go in. Dang it. That's why I did the ray.
Jetting. I'm down to bamboo.
I'm down with
I didn't even get the one off the tower.
So 2 things. 1, remember to play around specials. 2, when
Don't
we're
run into
pushing,
the bamboos.
well, when we were pushing back out, play the tower path. If we had gone like on the tower path to follow it on the way out, I think we would have been able to help Bab against the bamboo on the right. But
No, we tried, but the
sent,
bamboo
like-
had an angle.
they had an angle then, but that was because we weren't positioning preemptively to have control of right side. We were like all looking out in mid while the tower is moving out right. I'm saying we like actually follow the S curve of the tower so that we're all in one place and also all near the tower. Like I'd rather have control of like right stack than mid because mid has got no cover for us to drop into. Not the most experience. I mean, it's never a bad time to start, you know? New game is coming out soon, so all the hours that you're putting in now are going to give you a head start against all of the new players who start in Splatoon 3. Lucky for you, you're in Squid School. Yes, there's that too.
It's the stuff!
Every time you say something like that, the mic goes too loud and it cuts out, so you're like, it's the staff! That was all we
Sorry.
heard.
The MIT staff.
Oh, okay, cool.
the what team stuff?
The Mulloway
Institute.
Institute of Technology or something like that?
Institute of Turfing.
Institute of Turfing, there we go. They are a TOing organization that runs a whole bunch of different events.
Oh, there's left and right. I don't know where to go.
We're 2 down on left, so be careful. We'll get pushed from mid in all likelihood. I'm just gonna jump out. Booyah. I've got jet ready. Let me know when we got some. Okay, we're popping missiles.
I have a It's only 3.
Nice shred. Freezer. Inkjet jump.
I don't know how my bomb didn't kill that.
2 behind it in mid. They had armor on.
Ah.
I have armor now. I'm gonna use it. We're looking for a floated back in, so.
Okay. I'm gonna get forced out on left.
I'm above you.
Missiles.
This is
Long,
Booyah.
long right.
They have armor. Watch out. They're pushing. I broke 3 armors. That's sad.
3 right, 1 left.
They're gonna Booyah through the towel.
On my jump, I'm down. K-Pro. Freezer.
Couldn't-
Nice.
Yeah, I got it. There we go.
2v2. Just
love the stack.
Bomb. Junior's in mid.
Dynamo's bottom right. Jumping out, they've got armor.
Okay.
We've got an armor. You got anything to pair with?
I had to use
Almost
it.
the missiles.
I am in a horrible spot right now. If I get jumped on, yep.
I didn't trade. Not bad. Dynamo on left stack.
This one needs to be right.
It's like
one
3
left.
low left, yeah. They have armor. Oh, the missiles were close. There's 2 trapped on the right. They're
Bombing.
escaping now.
2 on tower.
Let's do armor.
There's 3.
I'm down. Nice, one more right. Nice, that's 3 down. Push up,
Close
get
snipe,
paint
jumping
control.
out, jumping out,
He
jumping out.
jumped out.
Paint control, paint control.
Being mid. Dynamo's top left.
Yeah, there's a lot everywhere.
I'm at
Painting
Below
for
me.
Jet. Okay. We've got 3 specials.
I'm stuck on the right. They're marked.
Got him.
Thank you.
Booyah on left.
Nice. Top left, 2.
See him.
Oh no, we were close
Got
to
one.
shredding. Good.
Nice. I'm gonna push around right side.
2 left.
Their armor's
One
been
shoot.
popped.
Got
I
one.
don't have a lot of... I need support in front, please.
I'm trying to get the Dynamo behind.
The Dynamo is out of play. Don't focus it till it's close to
They're
tower.
on tower.
It was on fire.
2 on tower.
The shooters in front were more important.
We got lead.
Okay, they're gonna special spam.
Right court now.
Heads
Okay, but we're all
Dynamo
trying to
drop
come
right.
up. I'm just waiting
Jumping
for them
out.
to come here. Just like that.
Careful, it's just you, Debbie.
I know, there's bombs and everything on me, so the most I could do is take one down. We gotta stall out that side.
One more corner.
I should have called this out before, but there's something that Ham taught us, Jem, is that when the one checkpoint's broken, you want to position for the second one. At that point in time, we were all positioned on snipe. We should have positioned for the second checkpoint.
It wasn't when we got down there. It was still on its way to first checkpoint. It just got past it, and so we jumped out.
The problem was they had all their specials, and they blew them all on the first checkpoint.
Okay, so you're saying like position for second checkpoint under the assumption that they're going to push through first checkpoint successfully since it's broken.
Yes.
Got it. Oh wait, that's power. All right. Well. Getting started. We have a whole lot to go through, so I'm gonna try and be efficient about it. We've got, I'm gonna say 3 people, because I accidentally double booked on one of those slots. So it's gonna be, and I don't think any of them are actually available to be in the voice call right now, so we'll just kind of run it from here, but thank you for the follow, Shogun Yams. So, as usual, I'm not going to be able to see chat super well. So, if there are ever any questions or anything important that I'm missing that's going on in there, I give everyone full license and, in fact, orders to interrupt me with those things. So, you know, any honest questions about the game that people are interested in learning about, or a situation that they see, definitely call that out. Raid notifs should work, you know, things like that should get heard by me, so I should be able to address those, but if something isn't happening, then again, feel free to step in and say something about it. So we're starting off here with 16-bit. 16-bit is playing the Firefin Splatter Scope. And so, let's see. I'm going to be playing it on mute. There is a little bit of commentary that they're giving over the comms. Or not over the comms, there aren't comms here, but on the mic, like during the recording. And I'll address a couple of those things, but for the sake of language, I'm going to be keeping it muted for now. Also, alt tabs. Shoot, I missed the follower. I'll have to check in on that later, but thank you for following. Appreciate you. Okay. So looking at this right here, the comps actually look pretty well balanced for this. Double Booyah on your team, which it can work. The Booyah is really solid on this map. I'm not a huge fan of it for like painting in zones, but it is good for starting fights. And this is a map where there's a lot of like small elevation change that can make it really annoying for players to get stuck on things. That's not, you know, anything we need to really be talking about for 16-bit's case. I think they go by bit for short. But something to be looking for, especially if you're like a frontline weapon in a comp like this, to play around the Booyahs, because the Booyahs are going to displace enemy players. And so as soon as a Booyah goes out, be thinking, okay, where are they going to throw this? Where is that going to push people? And where can I be so that when someone gets pushed, they get pushed right into my waiting arms? Meanwhile, other team is double missile and blob, so that's going to be annoying as heck for a backliner. Oh, no, wait, that's a Zimmy. That is... So that's, Rain, I think. Not... Okay, it's going to have a similar impact on the game, ultimately. There are a lot of specials on this comp that can target the Charger, so that's something to be watching out for. Just, keep your eyes on the heads-up display every now and then. You know, check it like you check your mirrors while you're driving to make sure that you're not trying to take a strong position in a case where they have like 7 things to throw at you to dislodge you from that position immediately. Okay. So we're moving up here. And to start with, we end up taking a pretty far forward position here on left mini. Meanwhile, we've got players coming over on this side. And we drop down, actually, to paint this up a little bit. Now, as soon as your teammate runs, I would probably run here. Because a blob player who's, you know, targeting you can absolutely hit you from this range, and they will also outpaint you. So you're not really going to accomplish much by sitting here, except maybe charging a little bit of special. Meanwhile, you're putting yourself underneath the top mid area where someone could potentially jump on you. So I would be worried about that sort of play, and I'd be backing up, especially since I don't have a frontliner to help me deal with that. Your tap shots versus a K-Pro or a Zap dropping down on you, I don't like those odds there. So I'd back up to a different location where I have a little bit of height and can see those kinds of things coming. Also, the blob almost does lethal damage just from the shots that they throw here. If they're aiming at you more directly, that's also a risk. In general... I find that it is, from my experience on GooTuber and from watching other Charger players, I find that it's unwise to stay in charge like this for too long. Here's why. If nobody is, like, in range to be hit by your shot as soon as it's ready to go, they're probably not going to move into your shot. It's very unlikely that that happens. I do see it occasionally where if a Charger is targeting a dualies that's out of range, they might hold it for a second to wait for the dualies to exhaust their dodge rolls so that they know they have a clean shot that they're not going to get dodged. So that's one case where you might do something like this. But for the most part, what's going to happen is if you hold this charge and you don't have a target now, you're not going to have a target later because everyone's going to see this laser out here and they're just going to avoid the laser until the shot gets fired. Meanwhile, if you're looking in one direction and somebody else is seeing you, you have no peripheral vision on them, especially since you're a splatter scope. So holding charge for this long is, it's very unlikely to get you any additional benefit. you might as well release the shot and 1, get more special charge for painting, 2, allow yourself to move faster, and 3, stop giving away your position to the enemy team. Better to just kind of fire and forget with the charge than to try and make every single shot count. So you do look up to the top right, which, so I think you're planning on moving up there. Again, I still don't know that I have the information from watching what I've seen right now to know that there's nobody on top mid already that would be a danger to you if you got up there. A little bit of a movement flub here, and this is something that's, like, while, you know, it's small and it's technical, this sort of thing does end up costing players a lot of time. So what happens is we've got the camera tilted a little bit so that when we hold forward on the joystick, we go off at an angle instead of going straight up. So making sure that your, like, aim or your camera is in alignment with the direction that you want to swim is a way to make a movement like this more consistent. Rather than needing to hit the angle just right, on like just a little bit to the upper right of straight ahead, if you just line your camera up so that you're dead on and all you have to do is hold straight, that's a lot easier a lot of the time, and you have more time to get that set up. So that's a way that you can avoid this sort of thing. Because even now, you're having to, like, wiggle your control stick just a little bit to get the camera straightened out. And if you set the camera before you go for that movement, you'll probably get it a lot cleaner more of the time. Now, as you get up here, seeing that the top of it is painted green, that should be of concern to you. Because, again, we don't have information on who's up here, and this is one of the primary places that's contested on this map. It's also a location where a lot of weapons like to kind of set up shop and look down from. So if there is somebody up here already, you're in danger. Another thing to be aware of is that in the time that it has taken you to get up here, the situation is turned into a 2v4 situation. Now, one of them is respawning, but that still puts you in a 2v3 versus the rest of the players on the map. Your teammate is already receiving pressure on the left-hand side, and if there's anybody on the right who might be looking at you here, then this is going to be dangerous. Lo and behold, there is, in fact, somebody top mid, and you do make a smart decision to just bail out of that position. Now, I think it might have been a little bit safer if you had dropped off the wall, painted a line onto this area here. This square is called jail because there's the fence around it. If you had shot one tap shot onto here and backed up onto the area off to the right over here, that would have gotten you away a little bit faster than having to drop down and come all the way back around it. That would get you back to here faster. And if the Zap wants to try and commit to this, they have to drop into enemy ink to do that. Whereas if they drop to the right, they're near their own zone, and this player who's contesting your teammate over here could easily sweep through, and they actually do get your teammate, so they would have been in position potentially if this had been a little bit slower to catch up to you and pinch you with this player who's on top mid. So slight movement optimization there that would have made it a little bit faster, but you make it out okay. I like that you have the awareness to want to drop out of that situation, just not be there anymore. I like that you are a neutralizing zone here, and then you know that somebody's up here, so you decide to take some shots at them. Now, with this bomb going down, your response should be to cancel your charge, just forget about taking this shot and swim away. Reason I say that, this bomb doesn't kill you, but it does damage you. You can see there's some stuff at the edge of the screen. And getting chipped out is a really common thing for something like a charger. If you're down a couple players, especially since this player has gone down and is respawning, these players have only just gotten back, you're probably the furthest player forward right now. They're going to focus on you, if anything. And if this blob gets a shot of blobs off somewhere and that bomb's down there, now you're in some trouble. Now this little bit of damage that you've accumulated from the first bomb might end up causing you some problems. This one right here, you see this player throw a bomb. they had thrown a bomb earlier, so you should expect, that's going to be behavior that they continue because they weren't punished for it. And you see the throwing animation there. Then the bomb is in front of you, and you start to charge up again. So there are a couple of points in that process, like right there, for example, that should have caused you to cancel the shot, to release the shot, and try and get out of the way of this bomb. Bombs are just really dangerous. They're one of the biggest counters to a backliner. And if you're getting bombed out, like, you've got to respect that pressure and not try to take greedy shots, because this is what that leads to. Charging with a bomb directly in front of you and going down to it. So at this point in the recording, you express a lot of frustration. And you say something to the effect of, what was I even supposed to do about that? Respecting the bombs was one of the big things. Deciding to abandon a charge and just like go immediately into squid form, press ZL to cancel that and swim away is a way that you can immediately just move and kind of get out of jail free. But what's happening is you're spending too much time and attention on setting up your shot and not keeping your head on a swivel. You're not making sure that things are safe enough for you to take that shot. You don't have any frontliners in front of you. You're kind of just out there in the open. You have no cover. Someone's throwing bombs at you. There are a lot of little warning signs here that, like, we can't just keep firing. We might need to move around and change positions. We might need to wait for teammates. We might just want to charge for special and wait until we can get an effective bomb rush off. What you could also do, if you don't like those bombs, is throw a wall out in front of you. And then the bomb is just going to hit the wall and never threaten you. So you have some options there. So what is... Oh, it's your Splash's ink jet that's doing splash damage. I was like, wait, these are all shooters. What's doing that? So your Splash gets a good pick to trade that back. Meantime, we're respawning here. And we have two specials ready to go. So the K-52 pops one. One of them is down. So this positioning right here is a little bit dangerous. Now, granted, your team is in a 4v2 situation right now. But let's say that your teammates had pushed the K-Pro out to this direction. The shot that you just fired around the corner indicates to the K-Pro a few things. One, that there is somebody over here. Two, that they probably intend on moving in this direction, because why would you paint this corner if you were just going to go up on top here? And if you're not going to move into this area, why did you come right in the first place? So they can kind of narrow down, all right, there's definitely a player who's going to be peeking around the right-hand side of this corner here, and that might give them a chance to set up and get a pick while you're isolated from your teammates. Because even though you have a numbers advantage right now, your teammates are all on the left side of the map and you're on the right side of the map. So this is not a time where you really want to be exposing yourself too much, at least not until you have an open sight line. Right now, if a short-range weapon gets on top of you from literally any direction, they have range on you before, at the same time that you have range on them. It's not like your range advantage matters at all right now, because you have a wall on this side, you have a wall on the edge of the map on this side. Behind you is all painted your color, so you know they're not going to be there anyway. And in front of you is this ramp, so that, if somebody's too far away from you, you hit the floor in front of you instead of hitting them. So this is a really exposed position, and firing around corners from an exposed position like this is something that is very likely to give you away. So if you're going to go right as a Charger player, highly recommend taking the high ground up here. Just paint the wall that's back here on this side instead, and take that position up top. That does give you right side peek. It gives you cover. It gives you a nice little corner to duck into. Gives you a lot of different places, little nooks and crannies to hide in. And if they're really bombarding this area so hard that you can't exist here, they're probably putting like way too many players on this side of the map, for one thing. For another, you can probably just jump out safely. And for another, they're taking themselves away from the zone so that your teammate can push in there. So I would take this position instead, and there are a lot of cases in this game where I think taking this position would have been advantageous. This is actually one of the best counters to top mid. So remember earlier with that player that threw the bomb at you, they were standing on top mid. You can hit them from this high ground over here. So that's one great counter to someone being up there if you don't like the low ground position that you were taking in front. Just to give us some other ideas here, this is Devi's. Here, let's see if we can open this in. Nope. Okay. So this is the way we'll have to watch it. But this is Devi's. Oh, can I? Oh, I can zoom in. There we go. That's nice. This is Devi's positioning map for Black Belly zones. So this is one position that a backliner might take. Typically, I would assume that a player who's in this position is using it to control, you know, this side zone because you've got a good sight line in this direction, or this side. You've got a good sight line on some people who might be pushing over from here. You're probably not looking a ton at top mid from this position just because there are only so many angles you can hit, but maybe if someone's on the very edge, you can contest that from there. And then if you get contested here, you can back up to a position like this or this. That's going to be a good defensive location for you to still have those sight lines, but be a little bit further back, have some high ground over people. And then right here, like I was mentioning, this position lets you right side peek and hit top mid. It lets you control the entire right-hand side here pretty well. That's one of the... It's called Snipe for a reason, you know? That's one of the more popular locations to push into from there. Okay. Back to this VOD. So we've got some shots getting fired onto T here, trying to paint it up. So one player on our team is down right now. Like you probably saw on this map here. Oh, actually, you probably didn't because it's zoomed in too far. So there are offensive positions and defensive positions listed on this map. And you'll see top mid listed as an offensive position. What we mean by offense is that your team has an advantage and probably has control of the objective, or at least has an advantage and is starting to push to take control of the objective, and you have pretty good reason to believe that you're going to be able to accomplish that. The reason we designate this as an offensive position specifically is that if you push in here and they still have control of any of the area around it, it's way too easy to get into range of you. Like, it's really hard for you to stand at the edge here, aim straight down at a player who's swimming up the wall, and they can be swimming up of any of the walls on any side of this. It's way too easy for a short-range weapon to contest, so you don't want to be up here until you know that you have the area in front of it cleared out of enemy players. Once somebody gets in position to get on this wall, it's no longer safe to be here. And at the moment that you're pushing in on it, there's actually someone booyahing on your side of top mid here. So this is not an area that you have control of yet, you know, exemplified by the fact that there is a player who is deep into your zone at the moment. Trying to take tap shots on this is just inviting them to throw the booyah bomb at your feet. Which at this point, I don't think you would have enough time to react and get away from. So I wouldn't want to get their attention. Nobody has been doing any damage to this in the meantime, so there's no shot that you end up managing to shred this with your teammates. So at this point, I would just be swimming away and trying to, you know, waiting out where is the booyah bomb going, where's the booyah bomb going, and then trying to go in the opposite direction. And I really don't want to alert this player to where I am, because if this player knows where I am, a smart thing for them to do would be to put the booyah bomb behind me, so that the only direction I can push is backwards onto this zone where they, the K-Pro, have an advantage in short-range combat against me. And at that point, I'm likely to go down on zone. All of my teammates are not going to be able to help out in that fight. That would be a really good play for them to make. And giving your position away by attacking them here is opening up the possibility that that happens. They don't end up throwing it there. They throw it in the single place where you are most able to escape from, because this was the direction you were probably going to move back to anyway. So that's fine. Standing this close, though, is dangerous. Remember, they were up in the air, so they're going to land somewhere around here. if a K-Pro pops up from this patch of ink right here, they're in range to hit you. You want to be backing up further so that they cannot be in range to hit you from here. Also, if you stay down here, you run the risk of being attacked from this side, which almost does happen. You're able to get a wall out, which is smart, and keep yourself safe, but okay, it looks like this player has gone down, so now we're actually in a position where we might be able to start moving forward. But again, a strong position for a longer ranged weapon is a position that denies as much cover as possible and gives you open sight lines. From right here, if you try to shoot forward, you're going to hit this wall. If you try to shoot left, you're going to hit this wall. If you're above all of those walls, you can shoot a lot further forward. There's still going to be cover from you, but there's going to be a lot less of it. And you're going to give the opponents far fewer options to approach you before they're in your line of sight. If an opponent were to be up here on jail, this location up here, like we talked about before, and they were to drop down on you, they would be in range of you as soon as they dropped, and so you would have no advantage from your range. If you're up in one of those positions that we showed on the diagram, though, all of those positions give you enough high ground, they give you enough open sight lines that you can stop a player from running at you before they get in range of you, and that's what makes those positions more powerful. So it looks like we move up to top mid. It's successfully here because the enemy team has been pushed out of this area, and we start to bomb rush. I would argue that this bomb rush might be a little bit on the early side because we've only just taken these positions. We can even see that there's some players still dropping out of spawn, so there's not a lot for this to threaten. And they're not painting the zone yet either. One of the primary purposes of a bomb rush in splat zones is to use the bombs to paint the zone very quickly and efficiently, while still having threat on the enemy team. You throw like one bomb on zone, one bomb at the enemy, one bomb on zone, one bomb at the enemy, or two bombs on zone so that it paints it very quickly, and then throw the rest of them at the enemy to keep them back from trying to paint it anymore. You know, that kind of idea. Right now, the bomb rush, you're using it to clear out top right and the area in front, which I think is really good. Like, I think those are areas where you would want to throw bombs to zone them out in that position. Now, it looks like one of the zones gets capped in this time, and so seeing that the zone is starting to be uncapped, I would definitely chuck at least a bomb or two in that direction to try and disrupt that from happening and maybe give teammates some help, because that's something that they're very likely to focus on. As soon as the objective starts getting played, a lot of people are going to have their attention drawn to that, and so throwing some bombs down there would be good and helpful for that purpose. Another thing, though, is that this wall behind you isn't painted, and you have dropped down, so now you're kind of committed to this position. So you kind of got two options at this point. One is aim right at the top of this ledge and fire one tap shot so that it paints a line that's big enough for you to swim all the way back up to top mid. Another one is probably back up, because otherwise you've got your back to a wall here. You're kind of cornered. This drop onto zone is very dangerous. If there is anybody in the position you just threw a bomb at behind you, they rush in and they get this pick for free. Fortunately, there isn't. But what also could have happened was this player turned on you here. So this player is not paying attention to you after you miss this shot, which is the reason that this works. At top level, this player turns around and absolutely deletes you. They're a mini with charge. They have a really, really fast DPS. So they can turn around and they can splat you before you can splat them at this point. What they end up trying to do instead is swim up a wall, which is one of the most vulnerable positions that you can possibly put yourself in, especially if you know that there's an opponent behind you. This is a little bit of spoilers, but I have a short coming out tomorrow about this exact position where an opponent is on a wall in front of you. This is a position that the player who's behind the wall should literally never lose, because this player cannot even turn to look at them, and as soon as they try, they have to do a 180 flick to get their aim on. And while they're doing that, they're falling through the air, unable to use their ground movement. So many reasons that this is a bad position to be in for them. And they decide to put themselves in this position right after they see a shot that clearly went right in front of them. So this is a really bad decision on their part. They should be engaging you directly. But what I will give you is that this is a beautiful shot. Ooh, so good, so good. A stickler could maybe make the argument that like you're curving your shot a little bit, you're curving your aim instead of going straight to where they're going to be, you're kind of moving it up like that. I don't care. You landed the shot. It was really nice. So then we make our way back up to top mid, and you push your way through that little bit of ink. You didn't let that stop you. If there had been someone behind you, then yes, you need to let that stop you, drop off the wall, and do your best. But in that position where you've cleared that area out and nobody's contesting you from back here, you know, pushing through that little bit of ink to get to the top is a lot more efficient than dropping down and going someplace else. Okay, so now there's a bomb rush. We need to, again, respect this bomb rush. There, you know that there's a bomb going off behind you. You got to get out of there. So I wouldn't have even charged that bomb up as much, or that shot up as much as I did. If this were like a splat bomb rush, that bomb would have already splatted you. So as soon as that, you know, special gets popped, have that as your sign, like, oh, they get this space pretty much for free. I need to back away from this. From here, I would consider trying to take the position up on snipe. Gives you a little bit more safety, and gives you high ground so that you can see over the top of some things, gives you some interesting angles to work with. And you've got the time right now, like, nobody's really pushing you, so while all of this stuff is going on around you, that's just an opportunity you've got. Thanks for the subscription, Scott Crossan. Appreciate it. So you see these shots over here, and that clues you in that there's a player here. Really good awareness there. Now, if you were up on snipe, you would have cover to work with for taking this engagement. If you are down here out in the open, they can right side peek around this corner and back up behind cover if they think they're in danger, while you have absolutely no cover within even a fairly considerable swim's distance away from here. Also, this is a mini splatling, as you've been able to tell from the rapid fire shots that they're firing here. There's no other weapon on their comp that's going to do that, at that range especially. You can just know from weapon knowledge that this weapon is in range of you, if you're right here. So you don't have any advantages trying to take the fight here. They are, you know, they're going to be able to wait until you've fired that charge, take advantage of their knowledge of when you're going to be firing the charge that they're getting from the laser to decide when to peek the corner, and they end up winning the engagement. Now, there is definitely a situation where you could have won that. You know, they did kind of peek out aggressively. But the better play is to put yourself in a position where they can't even do that much. Where you are right side peeking, and like they have to like jump off and aim up, where they don't really have a clean angle on you. You're right side peeking. You have a lot more advantages being up here, on top of just them not being able to get on top of you. So this position, I would say, is a lot stronger than standing down here for this particular weapon. And unfortunately, they're able to get your teammate as well. Now, the enemy team does have a DC, and you know, that happened... So that happened 15 seconds ago. So at this point, we should start to expect, okay, as long as we just group up with our teammates, we should be fine here. You know, as long as we support what they're trying to do, should work out. This is another situation where this shot right here, we're holding on to the charge for a pretty long time. I would say as soon as it gets all the way fully charged, just let it rip, like you did with the first one. Same right there. Like, if you released charge, you might have actually gotten that shot off when you had full charge and would have splatted them. But they move away, and instead of just getting another shot ready, you kind of just wave the aim around a little bit, and that's putting you out, for one thing, in front of your splash wall. So if the Capro were to come over on the right-hand side, heaven forbid, they'd be able to bomb you off the wall from this position. But for another thing, them seeing the laser is going to cause them to run away from you and make the shot harder and eventually impossible to hit. So you might as well just fire it, reposition, and get another shot ready faster. The wall also has, when you're that far in front of the wall, not only are you at risk of getting bombed off the wall, but the wall is also blocking your vision, which I think impacts your ability to aim that one shot there. Nice try there. I saw the idea. I think if instead of firing that shot, then what happens here? Let me back up for just a second. So you're out of ink is what happens. Okay. Because I think there's probably a way as soon as you see that. Okay, you release the charge. If you instead of firing that shot, just go into squid form, and cancel the shot. I think you are going to be able to swim forward, and also like you're not going to run out of ink as fast. So like, let me pull up a charger really quickly in the training room. Here we go. So you have some paint around you. Let's say that you have a charge and you realize you don't want to fire this shot. If I fire the shot and then swim, there's a little bit of delay, and I also lose the ink from it, which if you don't want the shot, you're probably just kind of wasting the ink that you get from it. Whereas if you just press ZL and swim out of it, you save the ink that you would have spent on the shot. You can still pop up and have the charge ready a little bit later if there's a more useful place for it. Well, I guess that's not the case on a splatter scope. Never mind. But if you just cancel it, you at least save the ink from it. And, for you unscoped players, you get the ability to do this goofy thing and pop up and do that sort of thing. This is also a really useful way if you're on a scoped charger. Let's get one of those out. So right now, you don't have a lot of information because you're zoomed in on one very small location and you have no peripheral vision. If you want your camera back, you can just press ZL and all of a sudden be able to see everything again. So, couple reasons that might be an advantageous thing to do instead of firing the shot in order to cancel it and start moving again. So, back to the VOD review. So, unfortunate miss there, it happens. And that you pressure them enough that they end up dropping down into your teammates' waiting arms, which is awesome. And so now we're going to take an offensive position. I would really like for your teammate to be pushing up further in front of you, and especially painting this area here, because them not painting that area there gives the enemy team access to zones sooner than they need to have it. They do eventually start moving up. So you open the map and check the left, which I like. You're checking to see if there's a flank there. Great shot. You see on the map here, I think, when you open it. Let me check. Yeah, you're seeing that there's some activity over here on the right. There's like green paint going down over here. And so you decide to focus your attention on that. And you notice, oh, hey, there's this player here that has put themselves in a position that I can shoot. And you take them out, which is awesome. Even if you're not necessarily like hitting shots from here, you're making the enemy team realize, oh shoot, there's a charger watching me. And they kind of need to respect your range because eventually you are going to hit shots. And if they're there, that's bad news for them. So they really do need to kind of be backing up and getting out of the way as soon as they see your laser, which is going to help your teammates push further in, which unfortunately they are not doing. If your teammates had been pushed a little bit further up, this Booyah Bomb doesn't even have an angle on top mid to get you out of there. So frontliners, please don't sit on your backliner. If your backliner feels safe pushing up into a position like that, you're going to be safe pushing further forward. So make sure that you're not just holding hands with the backliner. That can cause a lot of problems for especially the backliner, but the team as a whole.
I can't confirm.
Mm-hmm. That term, holding hands with the backliner, comes from Devi, by the way.
Someone else actually started it, but then I just kind of...
Yeah, it might actually have been Babs originally.
I'm pretty
who
sure it was
said-
Bab.
It was like,
Yeah.
Jem, what if we held hands? Wouldn't that be great? Ooh woo. Nice shot, nice shot. At this point, like every pick you get it should be like putting the team at numbers advantage because you're at a 4v3. So now you're at a 3v2, even though it's otherwise an even game. Nice shot there as well. They're definitely not handling the fact that there's a backliner in this strong position very impactfully. They're like running out into the open and trying to throw bombs instead of using cover, instead of trying to use the cover to take you out of the fight so that they can deal with just your teammates by themselves. There are definitely things that they could be doing about this, but you're punishing them really well for poking their heads out around cover in places where they have no right to. So earlier when you map check, it's I think about here-ish. Right here. So there's a little bit of ink right here, but right up to here is painted your color. And I know that you're looking at that because you're actually even tilting your motion controls over in that direction. And I think you verbally say something about it as well. So now when we get back up into this position, we map check again. Nothing new has been added over here. This is all still your color. And on the recording, you say that you anticipate someone's going to be pushing over here. Right now, I don't have any information to suggest that that's the case. We haven't seen any new paint getting put down maybe over here to give them a straight line from spawn out in this direction. And if someone were to push the left-hand side, at this point, you've only got like 20 ticks left. You can let them. Like, these players cannot possibly get to the zone in time. It's really only the right side that you kind of want to worry about, and like dead center really, because what they need to do at this point, the only way that they get back into this game is by neutralizing their zone and then trying to stabilize from there. I missed the notification, but thank you for the whatever that was, to the whoever that was that did so. Really appreciate it. At this point, it's game over. The other team literally just cannot get enough paint onto the zone in time, so the rest of that is all set. So the DC helps you out a little bit there, but get some good picks. We don't end up seeing the KA at the end, so we can't really make any assessments from there. But biggest things I would say for you in particular are don't value a charge as much. Just get to full charge and then fire. There are very few cases where you actually want to hold it for too much longer. Get the paint on the ground, get the special charge from it, and get the ability to move again. And also, since you're playing scope, get your vision back as quick as you can. You don't want to stay in that state where you have this literal tunnel vision like enforced on the screen by the game for too long. And then the second thing that I would say is, in terms of the positions you take, make sure that you have open sight lines where you're able to use your range against your opponents. There are a couple of situations where you're pushing into positions where frontliners definitely could have gotten on top of you, and in a few cases did. So instead, Devi's positioning guide is a pretty good rule of thumb. Occasionally, there are some unorthodox positions that'll work, but that gives you a whole bunch of safe ideas for what to do to keep yourself safe while keeping yourself impactful.
By the way, Jem, Hakami was adding a few more tips in chat as well. Hakami is a E-leader main, so has been adding a few other things in chat as well. So, like, always pre-fighter corners. Don't wait for a hit marker on charger unless you're trying to clip someone behind a wall. And when they release their shots, they seem to overextend a lot. Practice up and down motions with your sense.
Yep, all very good mechanical things to keep in mind. Release their shots, they seem to overextend. By overextend, do you mean like they fire the shot and then keep their aim moving past it? Is that the thing? Overcorrect? Yeah. Because overextend to me means they fire the shot and then they swim forward into enemy ink or something. So maybe I'm misreading that, but I think that's the language that I would have used. Oh, and Hikami's, yeah, also don't wait for hit marker. Again, Devi said that, but the hit marker, the thing about the hit marker is that it will flash on and then off as the opponent moves. And chargers do have some projectile travel time still, especially at that long of a range. So just because you have the hit marker on doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to hit the shot once you release it. So they might move out of the way. Your aim might wiggle by just a little bit and be off all of a sudden. If you're trying to like release the shot once you see that, that's more likely to result in you missing than anything. Just trust your intuition that you're about to hit it and release the shot at the right time. All right. So moving right along. Thank you for that 16-bit. And now we are going to be watching Cactos. This is a scrim recorded by Devi. So there will be some spectator cam stuff here, but we should still get a pretty good idea of what's going on. There will be some call-outs. So I'm going to keep sound on so that we can hear those. Looking at the comps, we've got double missile on this team, which is solid. All of these weapons are strong meta weapons. The game plan here is generally going to be, obviously, Wumi's going to be anchoring, so they're going to be taking whatever positions they can be impactful in. And then Annie is going to be, Annie's generally going to be trying to get armor as quickly as possible. Looks like they're optimized to throw a lot of bombs, so they're going to be playing a lot of defense against the Rainmaker. They're also going to be trying to help pop the shield. And then Blaze is probably going to be your primary slayer here. That's not to say that the other players can't slay. There are definitely going to be good opportunities for especially something like an N-Zap, but even a Jet Squelcher to play off of the setup that a tent gives them. But Blaze in particular is going to be looking for the players that are attacking you so that they can swoop in and slay. And you are a skirmisher weapon. So to refer to FLC's weapon roles, there's the skirmisher whose job is to engage the opponent, force the opponent to focus on the fight with them instead of whatever else they wanted to do. And then it is the slayer's role to engage on opponents who are looking at the skirmisher and very quickly win fights that are set up for them that way. So you and especially Blaze, but really anybody else who can be helping you, you should be in very close contact on the comms so that you can call like pushing left so that they know to look left to see who's engaging on you on left and get in position so that they can take fights against those players. That's kind of going to be your new game plan in neutral. Obviously, we want to get pop first, but I'm not sure that we get it here. We only have 2 lethal bombs. They have 3, plus a burst bomb, which is something, I guess. I don't know. They probably just shoot it with the Jet Squelcher, I would think. But also, you're going to be a little bit slower to mid, probably, just because of the weight of your weapon. So I think this is a position where you're unlikely to get pop, and that's something that you want to be calling out on comms. The priority of a team that can do so, that thinks they have the resources to do so, is to pop the Rainmaker shield for a couple of reasons. 1, it gives you a whole bunch of pain in mid that can help you win fights. But 2, the player who gets credit for the Rainmaker pop gets all the special charge from all of that paint. And so typically what happens is the team that gets pop has an immediate special advantage. They have somebody who just gets a free special on top of, whoever else might have been painting since then. And so they're more likely to be able to win the fight as soon as it starts. And that kind of forces the other team to play a little bit further back. Their tempo is going to be a little bit slower. So it looks like we as a team have opted to give up the pop here. And in fact, you've given the pop up so decisively that the brush feels confident to actually push to the opposite side of the shield before it's even popped to start applying pressure. This is a move that is very rare to see, and in competitive play, what probably happens is this player goes down as everybody collapses on it. Let's see what happens here. They go in with a splashdown, which they've somehow already charged. That's really, really fast on the splashdown. The brush does end up going down. What happens here? So it's Blaze on the right, and I think Annie is up here on the top left. Oh, and the Nautilus gets onto Annie, is what happens. Okay. Could you have done anything to help that? I understand you dropping back here to try and help with the brush. You almost maybe don't have to worry about this as much because you've got two teammates on the right, and they don't have any help because you've seen the other three of them painting over here. So maybe it's better to just let your teammates deal with this. I don't know. Not the worst idea to just drop down. But then Annie needs to be really careful because this push is now available because there's no tent in front. Really good play by Goose, to be honest, to recognize that that's the state of the game and to go for it. This is really aggressive, and the Jet definitely had time to put enough shots into you if they had seen this a little bit earlier. 3, 4... Let's slow that down a little bit. How many shots do they fire? They fire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 shots before you ever get your shield up. That's twice as many shots as they need to splat you. So if their aim had been on, you would just get splatted by this. Also, they're a custom Jet, so even if they're missing shots and they need you to, like, stop moving, they could just burst bomb your feet. And they have the splash damage, they have the paint at your feet to lock you in place a little bit more and be able to hit those shots easier. On top of that, Goose is now backed up and has charge. So this is a really, really hyper-aggressive play, tunneling on the Nautilus. Given that your team is currently 1 down on left and the other 2 are both fighting on right, you're completely alone pushing into this engagement. And while the tent is like one of the weapons that can probably do that, chasing in to try and hit shots is not the way to play that. The way that you are able to engage multiple members at once is by using your shield. So before you wade into mid here, you really want your shield out.
Oh, I died.
Great follow-up by Blaze, though. And this is exactly the kind of play that you want to set up constantly in this match. You want them to be focusing on you so that Blaze can sweep around from the right-hand side and get easy picks on players who aren't looking in the right direction. And Blaze... it's a favorable 1v1 against the Jet, but they have the help of the K-Pro as well on the right-hand side because it looked like we ended up losing that fight. With your Jet going down there, as Blaze, I probably don't want to go in and take that fight. I probably want to just back up and preserve my missiles. Because right now, they're 80% to missile charge. If they had just, like, jumped out as soon as the situation went bad with the Jet, they'd have missiles right about now, probably.
Nope. Right next.
And they'd already be able to fire this as the enemy team is trying to push through a choke point. So that's more of a tip for Blaze than anything else. But I want to get across kind of the mindset of how to play around your advantages, particularly special advantage there. So this shield here, as soon as you launch that, everyone on the enemy team is watching this. Anything that you do to draw aggro, you've got to realize, like, okay, eyes are on me now. They're going to shoot at me if they get the opportunity. What you're also doing now is you're painting the wall. If anybody has gotten past your shield in this time, they're going to see this paint going on the wall and anticipate, oh, they're going to start trying to swim up the wall here. So with people looking at you, you don't want to be pushing into this literally the weakest possible position that you can be in this game, which is... you are on the wall, somebody is in range to shoot you from behind you. Because from this position, in order to hit them, you need to release from the wall, which puts you in the air, which is the second most vulnerable position you can be in because you can't move very well, and then snap to them and hit them while they're already starting to shoot at you. That's just not a winning fight. Now, the jet ends up missing a couple of shots here, but what you then do is fire a shot forward, which draws aggro from the other side. Again, you are a tent, and your job is to draw aggro and engage the enemy team, but your job is still to do that from safety, and the safety that you have as a tent that is unique to your weapon is your shield, which you've launched. So right now, you need to be playing scared. You need to be playing behind cover. You need to be praying that this jet squelcher does not get lucky with a burst bomb up over the top of snipe, which is what I would be trying to do as this jet right now if I'm not getting pushed by something else.
Oof.
Goose is able to laser you down from mid. Again, not necessarily, because of anything that they worked to set up, but just because you revealed yourself in too many different places and too much of the enemy team knew exactly where you were. So right now, with 3 down, the play is for... well, okay, you don't have bombs, but the play is for the team to throw bombs. So Annie throwing bombs and backing up and not engaging in any kind of 1v1 or anything like that. This is a great position for Annie to be taking. I like this, but we also do need to be addressing the push. So good job running right up to it and working to try and trade it. At this point, you're up against the Nautilus. Nautilus is one of the fastest DPS weapons that's not just an insta-splat. You do not want to... tangle with this with your really slow firing gun. Keep the shield up right now and force them back out of your base. If they cross you up, you're in trouble. If you try to keep firing shots, you're in trouble. But if you launch the shield forward or even just kind of shield a few things and then Goose backs up and then you put the shield down, now they really can't do much. And your shield is in their way and you've stalled for a lot of time. You've given your team time to respawn back in. You're not going to go down to that. There are a lot of advantages to doing that over trying to take the 1v1. So trading with the Rainmaker is never a bad thing, but there you really didn't have to trade. You could have just kept the shield up, kept yourself safe, and kept the play alive. So Annie might be pushing in a little bit prematurely here. There's no support for Annie right now. But they do manage to get a pick, which is awesome. As Blaze picking it up right here, if you're going to pick it up, you need to get it down. You need to get it as far away from the goal as possible right now. Getting splatted with the Rainmaker up here is really dangerous because then if that happens, your team is down a member and the Rainmaker is in the base, so it will paint not only all of the area that they need to get to the Rainmaker, it'll paint the side of the pedestal to boot. So y'all need to not die with the Rainmaker up here, and I would not be putting myself in this particular position if I were carrying it. I think you start to call that out here, and I want to listen to how that call out is said exactly.
I think it would be best to... Alright, wait, no.
I think it would be best to... You have not given an instruction yet in this call out, and the time to give that instruction has already passed. Too many syllables. As soon as Blaze picks that up, I'd be saying, drop that down, drop that down. Like, get it away from goal. Just give a command. Don't try to be polite. Don't try to make a suggestion. Just orders immediately. What is the information that they need? What do they need to be acting on? Because they could have gotten splatted in that time that you were taking to get to the actual point of the call out.
Are you already down there? Yeah, okay, thank you, yeah.
Yeah. But I agree with that play, I think. You guys were jumping it off. You had a couple of picks, but it was still a little bit dicey.
It would be best to... Alright, wait, no. Are you already down there?
Yeah, you still got people in your pit.
Thank you, yeah.
I can respect, dropping it off there, trying to play it safe.
Jet is...
The alternative is letting it reset and just moving back into mid, or picking it up and actually trying to push with it. I don't think any of those would have been bad ideas. You guys are starting to regain advantage. My personal choice in that situation, I think, would probably have been actually to just clear out pit and then start pushing forward and try to make sure you have control of street. Because they have to go through your street in some way to be able to get to the Rainmaker. So as long as you're controlling it and continuing to push forward from there with your full numbers, there's no way anyone gets by. And that way your 4 numbers are further forward on the map by the time it resets. And you're in a better position both paint-wise and in terms of having players in the right places to start making a play in neutral rather than still being a little bit scrambled, still having to paint up in some of these locations that we need control of to be able to get back to mid.
Is on the right.
I'm just trying to paint up a bit.
Yeah, I like the call. I'm just trying to paint up a bit. For one thing, Annie is really close to armor. So if we get Annie's armor here, we have a much stronger fight as soon as that happens. And on top of that, there's just a lot of enemy ink that we need to clear out of our base. So going for an aggressive play immediately probably puts us on the back foot. We're probably going to have some kind of scuffed escape routes. We might not all be in the right place at the right time. We won't have specials ready to go. So I like the idea to just play a little bit slow here and get control back. So we're able to get away from the knot here without having to use our shields because they don't really keep track of us well enough. So we launch the shield into mid. This is a play that I want you calling before it happens. Like, I'm about to push left because I want your teammates to be looking for what happens when you do this so that they can try and get picks off of it. If you push in by yourself, that's relatively easy for them to field. But if you push in and your teammates push with you, that's a lot more dangerous. Now, what happened here on the left? So Blaze has gone down, and that's something that if you guys are all on callouts, I immediately want them calling out so that you don't end up pushing in without them. I also want to know that there's someone on the left. Like, it looks like there's a left flank. And that left flank just, like, never gets called out. Annie apparently goes down to the same thing, I think. So at this point, you're actually in a 2v4. And the only person who's pushing in with you is going to be a Jet, if anything. So the hammer goes out, and, like, you know, this is kind of textbook how you play this push mechanically. But strategically, tactically, you don't have the resources to make a play like this anymore. Your team is not watching your back at all anymore. And so you're just going to go in and get isolated and get picked for making this play. If your teammates are all still alive, if you've got an armor on and your teammates are all rushing forward with this, absolutely the right idea. The problem is you're not paying enough attention to the advantage state of the game to know that the window for a push like this is past now. And you need to just be backing up and playing to stay alive, keep your special, make sure we don't stagger, paint up more, and try and let your opponents blow their specials so that you can get a push back in after them.
Dying there.
So Annie's going to have special really soon. And something just to generally be thinking about in competitive callouts is to call, like, when you're close to special, when you're about to be able to use it. Because if I'm this K-Shot player and I look up at the screen and see they have 3 specials, we have none, I'm like, okay, there's no way in hell I'm taking a fight. If I look up, if I hear close to armor, then I'm like, okay, if they push in, I might actually be able to take a fight. That does change my decision-making calculus just a little bit, knowing that we have that to potentially stave off this onslaught here. But in general, we should probably be farming for specials and making sure we get into defensive positions so we can stall the Rainmaker until we have them. Annie, we see up here is fighting someone, and we decide to go and help that. But there's a Booyah Bomb that gets thrown at Blaze, who's rushing the Rainmaker. Rushing the Rainmaker here is a bit of a solo play, but it looks like they actually leave it undefended. Because there's someone over on the right, there's someone raying, so there's only one other player unaccounted for there. So if Blaze knows all of that, then that's a great play. If they don't know all of that, they got lucky. And I can't really tell what's what. Blaze does end up going down. And the fight here is on the right. Like, you've got two or three teammates over on this side right now, and you're seeing the enemy team pop to the Rainmaker. So there's got to be somebody over here who's putting on a lot of painting pressure. This is what's really important on the map right now. The ray, you might be able, let's say you go over and you splat the ray. You're going to have to push through enemy ink to do that. And, you know, that's not a guarantee that that's going to happen. But let's say you're able to push in and splat the ray. Well, there's a brush here and there is a K-Pro here. So what's going to happen is these guys are going to take the Rainmaker. They're going to be able to zone or splat Annie. And now all that's left in the way is a Jet Squelcher. You need to put yourself in a position where you're still relevant to the objective play. Just because you're a skirmisher and your job is to be distracting doesn't mean that you want to just take up a position that doesn't matter, because they will still just be able to ignore you. That's generally the way that you're able to beat a tent, is actually by ignoring it. If you're able to ignore the tent and not have to fight it and just focus on the rest of the teammates, then you're going to be able to win the game. It's when the tent puts themselves in a position where you cannot help but ignore them, or you cannot help but engage them. That's when they're skirmishing. That's when they're drawing aggro. That's when their teammates are going to be able to act off that. So if you fight the Jet, the other team is like, big whoop, we're going to win the game.
Hey, how'd you get up there?
There is so much purple ink, by the way, in between you and an escape route. Like, there's no direction right now that you could run away where you would have a really clean line of ink to escape in. And at this point, they have the Rainmaker. This is jump back now. Jump back 5 seconds ago. This is like really, really, really out of play. The entire game could be lost and you would have absolutely no impact on the play if you don't get back to spawn immediately. You're really relying on your Jet Squelcher to put Toxic Mists in exactly the right place for you to even be able to jump back to spawn in time to save a KO. And the Jet, now you can see, is behind the Rainmaker carrier. Like, if the other team perfectly knows the situation here with who's where, the Rainmaker can literally KO before anyone respawns. Now, fortunately, they still seem to think that you're in between them and the goal. But then you go and give your position away immediately. Like, they should know right now, just go, just go, just go, run, 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 run. Like, this is a really, really dangerous play that you're making. And this hammer throw is the only shot you have of stopping the Rainmaker from moving.
I missed my hammer.
It happens to be players that respawn that save this, but like, what if these players had just pushed up and been around the goal by the time they respawned? This is an immediate knockout for them. And it's not for you guys having lack of numbers, it's for the numbers that you had being completely behind the play. Just, I cannot stress how far out of position you were. You might as well have been in the enemy spawn for how much of an impact you were going to be able to have on this play.
No, dang it.
So Goose popping off here in your pit. In that situation, if I'm Blaze, I probably actually pick that up and just let myself die with it to force them to pop it a second time. Because I think we as a team need more time to get ready to defend this. Otherwise, we lose more points, which is exactly what happens. We only lose one, which is fortunate, but I think we probably could have lost some more. I don't know. Maybe that's a desperation play. Maybe they were more patient than me and it paid off, but I'm definitely worried about something like that happening. Okay. So if you're going to go right here, way, way faster to just swim up this wall. Just swim up this wall, ledge cancel, move forward. You take this really wide path out to the right here, which is definitely going to cost you time. Like, if I just swim up the wall and ledge cancel, I'm already up to, like, here or something with the Rainmaker.
Alright, you guys want me to drop off?
When you make a play like that, like, that seems like a small optimization, but really what you got to think of it as, you're giving the enemy team more time to rotate to defend the push you're making. They see that the Rainmaker icon is moving to the right side for you, the left side for them. They can spend more time swimming over to this side to be ready for you to drop down. And you are going to have to drop down. This is a Rainmaker free zone. What's going to happen now is the timer is going to start ticking faster. I think 3 times as fast above your head. Look at this. These are not seconds that are ticking down. This is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So you lose a lot of time that way. The call out that you make here is, let's listen to it again.
All right, do you guys want me to drop off or keep going?
You guys want me to drop off or keep going? Once you've picked it up like this and spent this long with it, it's not a matter of time. It's a matter of what you can get away with positioning wise. And all you really have to do to get this Rainmaker to drop basically back into mid is drop over the ledge in front of you. Like as soon as you drop down right here, it's basically in the same place as, you know, the objective push is basically in the same place as it would be if they popped it in mid and started pushing from there. So getting it down here has already accomplished the objective of jumping it off the level. So this question is maybe coming a little bit on the late side if you still had the question. But if you're trying to give your teammates the option still, you've already kind of made the decision for them.
I think you can keep.
So this is more of a decision that's the more experienced you get, the faster you'll make this decision and the more quickly you'll know what to do. But basically the way that I'm making this decision is I'm map checking and seeing if the area in front of this ledge is clear. If the area in front of this ledge is clear, cool, I'll drop it down. If the area in front of this ledge is not clear, if there's maybe fighting going on around it, I'll drop it off into mid probably, because I don't want to risk getting splatted up there in that position. And since we've already committed to taking it out on the right-hand side, I've got to make that decision kind of quick.
Keep going. Oh, they're behind us.
No, yep, they're right.
Another thing, though, is, like, if you're going to drop it down, as soon as you drop it down, where are your teammates? Like, find them, get them in front of you. Walking it forward by yourself is about as good as just dropping it into the water. The very first player that you see that's going to contest you is going to splat you at that point.
Think you can keep going.
Like this right here,
Yep, they're right there.
you're lucky that this ends up even getting traded back. But really, this is something where the position is just so disadvantageous. You have no movement options. You have no teammates to protect you. You're very, very, very isolated. So as soon as you drop it down, like look for your teammates and move towards them. Move towards the path that they're making for you. They end up seeing, oh shoot, they're out here on their own getting attacked. I need to go in and help that. And the enemy team is able to capitalize on that by splatting them on their way in. As you can see, we're down 3 members now. And that only happened after you moved over to the right-hand side.
Ah, my gosh. I can't kill anybody right now. Sorry.
I feel that.
And, you know, Annie's saying, I can't kill anyone right now. I don't even necessarily blame them for that. The team is just kind of scattered in positions where they weren't going to be able to fight effectively together.
I'm not the best.
Okay, good jump, good jump. That is exactly what I would want to do as Blaze there. If they get the opportunity to maybe, like, shark their way back, maybe they can, like, throw some bombs in front of the Rainmaker or paint for special or something as they come back and be a little bit more impactful, but as soon as anybody sees them, they're in trouble and they need to get out yesterday. So jumping is a pretty good idea. Okay, Blaze and Annie are pushing on the Rainmaker, so you want to be having some kind of an impact with them. Yeah, there's a jet in front of you, so that's going to slow you down a little bit. But, like, seeing that they're trying to take that position, definitely try and move in. Here...
Okay, I'm just rushing in and dying. There's somebody is up on our...
Launching the shield here isn't the worst idea because it will protect you from the explosion and it will paint over where the Rainmaker has to move. I would still be worried about the players on top on snipe, though, so I don't blame you for just backing away and then moving up. But moving up to place an ink mine might... I guess maybe you're trying to substrafe or something, but, like...
Okay, I'm just rushing in and dying. There's somebody is up on our
So you're right here, and they're already shooting at you. So the time to put up your shield has already passed. Like, at this point, you know, if they have better aim, they can shoot you down before you get your shield up. Shield is a preemptive thing. It's something that you have to set up a little bit ahead of time. It's a slow weapon. So in that position, once they're already shooting you, don't anticipate you have enough time for that. Try and back up, kite them a little bit to where they have to push forward to get into range, and that will give you enough time to actually have the shield ready. And then maybe you can launch it at them or something.
Our upper right.
But,
Camping out there. It's Spanky.
what does help is that you've got your jet watching. So they're able to help you take out Goose, which is great. And now you paint up a lot, you're sharking a little bit. This is not bad at all. So if you put your shield down, you let this guy through. If you keep your shield up, they just get bumped between you and the wall, and they probably just die to your shield. Like, right here, you're completely blocking this player's angle. Just walk like a tiny bit to the left, and they're just like bump, 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 bump. Oh no, I am dead. And then they die. And what happens instead is they slip through and get to your jet squelcher. They are down now. So holding the shield up there would have prevented them from crossing you up and getting the pick on you. It also probably could have prevented them from getting the pick on your jet squelcher. But that's a situation where they're trying to force their way through a choke point. Your shield is for stopping them from getting through choke points.
Shield on the Rainmaker.
Like, the counterplay to you putting your shield up there is them maybe slipping away behind this corner. But then you can kind of move out with the shield and stay on the right side of it so that you can keep blocking shots with the shield, but get a shot around the corner with like a right side peek or something as it moves that far. You've got options for how to even push around the corner to deal with that. And then if you miss that one shot, cool. You can just swim back through the ink that your shield made and back all the way up to exactly the same position you were at and reset the whole process by putting a shield up again.
Shield on the Rainmaker.
That is a crazy jump that I don't know if anybody saw, but...
Hit armor.
By the way, it's worth noting all of these map checks are not Cactoses, they are Devies. Devi, remember, is using spectator cam. So these are situations where Devi would be checking the camera or like wanted to see something in particular on the camera. So just we can't assume that the information that's on the map is something that Cactos would know. But it's information that Cactos could and potentially should be collecting in these situations. Because these are good times to check map, and they're giving us a lot of information that's actually really helpful for the VOD review. So thank you, Devi.
Anytime.
So it seems like your impulse when you get into a close range engagement is to put an ink mine down. I don't know if that's the first thing I would think to do, and maybe it's just that I'm not a tent player and don't know better, but my thinking would be as soon as you're like, oh shoot, overwhelming force, the first thing that I want up is a shield, I would think. I would think that you walk up on this Han Solo situation, you know, the scene where he like walks around a corner and all of a sudden he's in a cafeteria full of stormtroopers. You end up in this kind of jump scare situation. You're like, oh, nope. And what I'm thinking I do is I immediately strafe back to the left, get behind cover, and start readying up a shield so that by the time they chase me around the corner, I have the shield ready. That bomb very nearly splats.
All right, I got Rainmaker.
And we end up trading, which, again, I really don't think we need to do. I think at this point, you decide, okay, I'm not going to get the pick right now, but I can put out a shield and slow them down from moving forward. The only way the Rainmaker moves forward is to go to the left, and after my shield is out, I can just move over to the left and shoot from there. But right now, you need to defend yourself from this shot. Getting the trade on the Rainmaker, it's like, yes, trading the Rainmaker is always worthwhile, but you didn't have to trade. You could have like splatted it clean or kept it from moving at all by keeping yourself alive there. And especially as a skirmisher, like your job is really to engage the enemy but stay alive. The fact that they fired a shot at your shield, perfect. Let the shield tank it. Let your team take advantage of the time that the Rainmaker is not firing at them to get something else done on the map. But as soon as you go down, everybody else on your team is pretty fragile, and they're not going to have as much to play around. There's not as much to pressure the enemy team back with. You were also extremely close to having a hammer that definitely could have turned the tide of this fight if you had just kept yourself alive long enough to farm it and then go in with it.
Ah, traded with Goose.
Okay. So trade isn't necessarily a bad thing there for you guys, but again, you know, we lose special charge to that, so avoid it when you can.
Maybe I go after the Jet and Goose because they're kind of beating us up right now a lot.
So we talk about we need to target Jet and Goose. I sort of agree, sort of disagree with that call. On one hand, you need to respect their range because they're taking angles that give them good open sight lines, and we're not doing a good job of keeping ourselves safe from them. On the other hand, the player to target in any situation is the player you have an advantage against, and the player who needs to go down first. So if the brush is in an obnoxious position, like, don't just run past the brush to go and attack the Jet Squelcher or to go and attack the Knot, because the Knot and the Jet Squelcher are going to get picks off of you doing that. They're going to get picks because you're not going to have the paint, you know. You just kind of focus the player who is in the position that is most vulnerable or that needs to be displaced the most. So right now, that player is probably the Nautilus. And so y'all have seen the TikTok. This player is about to drop off a ledge into enemy ink. What do you think is going to happen? That's what's going to happen. As the tent, remember that you have really, really big control over choke points. You're down a member. If you put a tent shield down this ramp, there isn't any way that they get the Rainmaker towards your goal or even anywhere near scoring more points before your teammate respawns. So just get into this choke point, lodge yourself in here, put the shield out, let it go down the ramp, and just waste their time. Maybe put a mine here as well, so that these players trying to push up just do not have the option to do so. Yeah, you got to watch out for bombs off the backside of it once it starts going down the ramp, but that would be so much more annoying to push through than a tent dropping down and getting themselves pinched. You now have a player in front of you and a player behind you because you've dropped down here in a situation where what could have happened is you could have put your back to a wall so that there's no way that you end up getting encircled. Your team just pre-fires this angle, and that is the reason that this is successful. But they didn't have to rush in like this. They could have popped specials and had a much better opportunity to push through than they did just kind of all holding forward and dying for this. This could have been a KO because they were at a numbers advantage.
And you guys like push forward.
Yeah.
So with Woomy going down, my first priority is like, wait, Woomy was right here in a position that was defending our Rainmaker carrier. I need to make sure that this area right here in front of Blaze is clear, because for all I know, there is someone sharking over here. There might be someone on top of Snipe, because that's still all painted up. There might be someone in Street.
On the ground here.
I'm very worried about all of that. And right now, we're leaving the Rainmaker alone to mid, basically. Like, the Rainmaker is more exposed right now than anyone else on the team.
Armor.
And, like, now we're moving in front of them. But, again, if there had been a shark in Street, something could have happened there. So we see the brush. We don't know where anyone else is at the moment. Do I like this right here? It's like, on one hand, yeah, this is a great way to engage the brush. On the other hand, the Rainmaker is on the left side. The Rainmaker's not behind you. Like, you want to be in front of the Rainmaker right now. You're like drawing players to shoot at you instead of the Rainmaker. And it feels a little too easy for someone to slip by you on the left if you're taking this fight this way.
Uh.
Okay, so Woomy is able to follow it up and get the pick on Goose, but with the splashdown going up, with the shield turned around away from it, yeah, you just get turned in too many different directions. Again, a strong position for you is going to be a position where they can only approach you from one direction, and that one direction is blocked by your shield. As soon as you give them the ability to flank in, which you're doing by being dead center in the middle of the map with no cover on either side of you, they're going to be able to play that a little bit better. They're going to be able to kind of get you to look two different directions and pick you that way. So at this
Oh my
point,
gosh.
yeah, the team's wiped. Game is over.
Okay. Well, that was.
So major takeaways, I would say, and I don't think we have
a
KA to look at here. Major takeaways. Number one, use choke points to your advantage more. Number two, play around your teammates, taking the fights and winning them for you. One corollary to that is when you do not have teammates to take fights with you, your weapon is not doing anything. Like, it's very unlikely that you're going to get solo kills. Even if you do go in and just one-shot someone, that's probably on the back of either that player being distracted by someone else or that player being isolated by the rest of your team or something like that. Your job is to be a nuisance at moments where your teammates can take advantage of it. Or in the situation where you don't have an advantage, to stall, which you are very good at doing, until your teammates are there, ready to take advantage of it. You're only really able to make like one offensive hammer play that works here. And even then, your teammates immediately go down as soon as it happens, and you don't really pull anything off there. If you are able to play around your teammates more, keep them alive, and draw aggro for them, then that hammer play starts to matter a lot more. But as it is with what we saw there, because of where we're positioning and when we're deciding to engage, we're not being as effective as we could be at drawing the enemy's attention away from our teammates so that our teammates can win fights. And then just general Rainmaker stuff. Always, always, always be in between the Rainmaker and the goal when the enemy team has possession of it. Even if it's just popped and they're somewhat likely to be able to grab it, consider the worst. Consider them going and grabbing it. Because as soon as you are behind the Rainmaker carrier, you are useless. You are not going to be able to catch up to it because the teammates are... Yeah, the Rainmaker is slower than you at swimming, but the teammates are going to be painting for it. And so it's not going to have to stop and paint a line in front of it and then swim again. It's going to have its teammates. And if you put yourself out of play like that and the enemy team recognizes it, they can just hold forward, completely keep you out of the match, and they will have numbers against anybody that they run into. So you need to not let that happen for very long at all. Use the shield to block off spaces they want to push into if you need to. That's one of the big advantages of that weapon. And you're not launching your shield very often. You're using it very sparingly and often getting picked because you're not having the protection out there to work with. Plays where you swim through your shield are great aggressive plays, but also you can just put your shield out there and then wait and get another one and, use that as soon as you can and play safe in the meantime. But launching your shield does a lot of things for you, especially in tight choke points like this. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that. Okay. So thank you, Cactos, for submitting footage, and thank you, 16-Bit, for submitting footage, if I didn't say that already. But we're not done, because we are going to go and watch one more here that I am pulling up as we speak. Okay. So this is not how I would typically do this. But again, I double booked myself. So we've got a triple feature today. We're going to watch Stinky-Inky here. I believe they were playing Brush. No, never mind. That was K-Shot. on Clan Blitz. So it shows you how much I've seen of this so far. But K-Shot, and what rank did I see this was? A rank. All right. Been spending some time in there recently on the GooTuber, among other things. Okay. Very, very minor movement optimization here, but when you go off a ledge like this, there is no reason to jump off of it. Jumping will actually make you take longer to get to the ground, which means that you're swimming less soon. And jumping through the air is a lot slower than swimming along the ground. So what you should do here instead is just swim off the ledge, paint as you're falling, and then just go immediately into swimming as fast as you can. Jumping off of ledges like that is a temptation for a lot of newer players, but it's actually significantly slower than it would be to just fall into your ground movement. There, like that. That's the sort of thing that I want to be seeing more often. All right, so we're getting some paint here. Generally, we're walking and shooting. So like from here, for example, what I would want to do to paint a little bit more quickly is get to a place where I'm not going to be putting down overlapping ink. When your ink overlaps something you've already painted, that's just wasted time, basically. So try to swim to the edge of the ink that you've painted before you start painting more, unless you're approaching the enemy team. Like, if there is enemy ink in front of you, yeah, okay, give yourself a little bit of a buffer, just in case, you know, the sploosh happens to be sharking right at the edge of this. But right now, there's no earthly way that an enemy player has made it this far, this fast. So you know that there's nobody in front of you. You can just paint as efficiently as humanly possible and get out there quickly. Also, I don't see you doing the up-down movement, so check out my TikTok. It's on TikTok and YouTube Shorts on the painting pattern for short-range weapons like this. It's going to get you a line that you can swim through a lot faster. Like this splotch right here, if you're doing the up-down thing, you cover this with that painting movement. Whereas now you're going to have to paint that separately later if you want to swim through that. All right, so we see that there are a couple of players moving through on the bridge. You throw a bomb here, which I like a lot. This Clash Blaster should probably be paying attention to you at this point, but that's fine because you've got a GooTuber who's paying attention to them. And the bomb scares away their teammates. So now this player is completely alone, and they end up solo challenging a GooTuber outside of range, and the GooTuber wins that every time. So, well played. Unfortunately, it looks like the GooTuber missed a bomb behind them, so that's just unfortunate, but could we have played this better? You're already throwing this bomb by the time you see that the Clash Blaster is actually committing to this. I might have started firing shots with my main weapon instead of throwing the bomb just to try and cut them off from this angle so they couldn't swim forward. Maybe pre-fire them as they come around the corner, especially since I've got teammates on either side. So even if this guy aggresses me, I've still got my GooTuber who's going to help me with that. But I think you play that generally really well. Okay. This you've got to be careful with. If there's like a sploosh sitting right here, you're putting yourself in range of that sploosh if they just sit and shark in the ink. Generally, with any sort of map terrain where you're going uphill and you can't see over the edge of that hill, so like right now, you have no idea what's happening even the slightest bit behind the bridge, and now you don't even see what's happening on top of the bridge. For all you know, you have to treat it like there's somebody here, so you don't get sharked. And you recognize that there's someone there. Again, like if you turn to shoot right there, no reason that a sploosh who's in this position wouldn't just go and charge you for that. But that ends up not being where they are. Ends up that they're over here. I like that you're trying to use this to kind of right side peek. Be very careful about this corner, because just the other side of this corner is a downhill. And so even if you like try to right peek this corner, they can come up without getting hit by those shots because they're coming under it and aggress you from there. So what I would probably be doing here is I would want to put some distance between me and this corner because, again, they've got a sploosh, they've got a clash, they've got weapons that I don't want getting on top of me before I know it. So I would actually back up to directly underneath the clam basket and paint up around that area so that this is all clear and I know that there's nobody at least trying to come straight up this way, and maybe throw a bomb to see if I can flush somebody out even further. Firing shots right here is going to alert them that you're here. Pushing out here is definitely not the play. There were 2 players here, and you're alone, so this is a 1v2. Now, what this ends up working out for you, and the reason for that is that this player does not engage on you the way they should. They should be chasing you. Like, they should be going all the way up behind you right now and shooting you in the back before you ever get to their teammate. But I think they tunnel on trying to score or something. Now, what do they even do? They just kind of come up one at a time instead. That was not the call from them. But know that, you know, at higher ranks, if you just try and push in like that, that player is going to shoot you in the back and take you out before you can get to their teammate. Because you had to paint in front of you, whereas they already had shots on you. So they could fire a couple of shots, maybe paint your feet before you're able to get away from them. But this is generally good. You want to keep the area around here. What the heck? Where did they come from? Did they come up from the left? Do your teammates actually let someone up on the far left here? Wow. That shouldn't have happened, and that's not something you should ever expect to happen. Because, like, they had to come all the way up the ramps, zigzag back and forth, and run all the way around this. With your 2 teammates up and both on the left watching that, that should not have worked. But it's okay. They end up not scoring. And I generally like the idea here. You're not just, like, sitting on the power clam. You're actually taking an angle further ahead of the power clam and painting up so that if they're going to try and come for the power clam, they have to push through a significant amount of your ink before they can ever get there. So that's really smart. And then you're just like, what? Whoa. But it's okay because they run away. And then your teammates are in the way. Now, with your teammate in the way here, the way to take this fight... So you see your teammate is shooting at them already. So you don't need to worry about them pushing the basket from here because the teammate's already in the way of that. The way that they get away from here is if they use their escape route behind them. Paint behind them right now. Paint this blue ink to stop them from zipping by you like they just did. Because if you're firing on this spot, yeah, you'll be missing them at first, but then they'll run into your ink, get stopped, have to paint for themselves, and you'll be hitting them as soon as they hit your ink. And that's when you'll actually get the splat there. But because you weren't pre-firing them, they're going to get away. Oh, no, they're not going to get away because they decided that they wanted to run away to mid, even though that was cut off. They could have just gone this way and been completely fine. So that was not a great decision on their part. But good job on your teammate to cut that off immediately, and good job to you to follow up on that. Ooh, that is unfortunate. Okay, so it looks like the entire team is rotated out left, and now they're just going to score on your closed. You are going to be able to get that pick easily, which is good. Are you kidding me? They didn't throw it in? Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. No, Stomatopod, that is not the play. When a power clam gets that close to the basket, they have to assume that someone's going to go and stop it. Yeah, firing missiles, they do not have time for that. They want to throw that clam in and then get out of there as fast as they can. So, good job capitalizing on their massive, massive mistake there. Like, I don't want to take away from you for them, you know, playing badly on that. But, like, you did everything right to punish them for that very bad decision. So, good on you. Worth noting, and I mean, I noticed it probably like 30 seconds ago or something, but the other team has a DC. So this is a game that we should expect to win at this point. We should expect to just kind of have overwhelming map control for most of the game. We've got a wipe here. Quick thing about clam blitz maps and clam throwing range, because this is still something that, you know, players at this rank are going to be getting used to, but this bump right here, everywhere you see this bump is a place that you can throw a power clam in from. So that's a quick tip for literally every map that has one of these things. The single clam throwing range is basically like a sploosh's range, or like, it's a little bit less than a sploosh's range. It's like, how do I want to describe this amount of distance? It's basically like two lengthwise squids laid, you know, head to tail away from that. You back up far enough away that you're not able to throw them in, and so you missed one, but you are able to get the pick and just kind of keep the clams coming in, which is good. So I like the idea here to actually back up and let your teammates score, but what you need to be doing in the meantime is taking an off angle, taking an angle that the opponents have to do something about. If you just sit here, what happens is your team is at an artificial numbers advantage because you're not involved in the fight at all. And so they take out your teammates, and then when you try to go in and score again, now they're in your way. What you want to do instead is hop up on this block and then hop up over here. So now this player has to make a choice. Do I defend against this player scoring, or do I defend against this player scoring? If they defend against you scoring, your teammate gets to score. If they defend against your teammate scoring, then you get to score, or just splat them and then score more. Forcing them to make a decision here is what makes it safe to throw the clams in more slowly. If you're just going to kind of sit back and then try and go back in the same way, you would have been better off throwing all the clams in at once, because at least then you get them in instead of getting stopped before you can throw all of them. So they do a good job clearing out the baskets. Too many players all in the same exact spot. A Clash Blaster will eat that for breakfast. A Burst Bomb from the Splatter Shot will stop all of that. So you all just get cleaned up by the same play, even though you have the numbers advantage of having a DC. Again, taking different angles will prevent that. It'll make it so that, oh, one player went down. Now I can just safely back up because the enemy team is grouped up more than we are, and they don't have anybody fighting me right now. There's nobody putting enough pressure on me that I have to commit to something. And I can just run away, keep my special charge, keep the clams I have in my possession, keep map control, and be more of a nuisance as they push back out than I would be if I'm splatted and they just get to paint out for free. Okay, so I really like that bomb, because to me, coming out here for a second, it looks to me like this power clam is in our street, and it's coming through there. So I'm worried that, you know, I'm needing this bomb to actually stop the clam from getting to the basket. But it actually turns out now, oh, wait, never mind, it's underneath. Oh, do you have, oh, you have Haunt on, I think. Okay, so that's why we're able to spot this player out and see where they are. Gear, I wouldn't worry about it yet, but Haunt is definitely not an ability that you would expect to see on a Splatter Shot. It's something you're more likely to see. You know, I'll just say, like, to check out sendu.inc for build ideas. So sendu.inc/builds. I just always go to that website there to look at what the top 500 players are doing and try and copy that as much as I possibly can. I love that you're recognizing that they are vulnerable when they pop the missiles here. Like, you see this and you're instantly just like in kill mode. It scares you a little bit because you're like, oh shoot, there are a lot of players here, but trading in a 4v3 is fine, kind of. So if I, you know, pop around the corner and see that many players, I have a trained enough reflex that I don't want to take this fight yet. So that's something to work on. Like, you come around this corner, and honestly, the player who's not firing missiles is a little bit more vulnerable to you right here, because you can right peek this corner and still hit this guy, whereas to hit the missiles user, you have to push into the enemy team. So what I would have probably done is ducked around this corner, been like, nope, ducked around to here and started firing at them at that point, and then I probably at least get this player. And yeah, the missiles go off, but big whoop, they've got a power clam. We can see where they are, and their teammate just went down. So, not the end of the world at all. So you splat the thing about splatting the clam holder is that it's not as good as splatting the Rainmaker carrier. It's not like this clam is going to form this giant shield that they have to paint the crap out of in order to get the clam back. Someone else could just really quickly pick this up and run it in. So you don't want to be trading with a power clam as carelessly as you can trade with the Rainmaker carrier. And it's for this exact reason. This guy, I think, makes it in. Now, they're making a solo score because the rest of their team is down. So this is honestly a misplay from them at a competitive level. Because all this is going to do is score to 80, which is the smallest push you can possibly get. And then the enemy team is going to get a power clam in exchange for that. And not just a power clam, a pity clam. The kind of comeback mechanic clam. The one that you don't have to pick up, but you will still have, and it won't expire. That clam is more powerful than a typical power clam, and they have traded 20 points of scoring to give you one. Not a good trade. So it's totally fine that that makes it in because the rest of them were dead. Okay, so from this position, it seems like you're struggling to figure out what to do. You're trying to be like, do I help my teammate out on the right? But they just went down, so it's probably not safe there. Do I want to go left? No, it looks really blue. The answer in that situation is paint for special and collect more information. So you had some area behind you in your closed area that you could have painted on the way out to get missiles. You can be like throwing a bomb over the side here. You probably don't want to be painting over the side because then someone probably drops on you. But if you just throw a bomb over the side, you get a whole bunch of free paint in the enemy side that it's probably not that annoying for them, but it gives you a little bit more special charge. If you feel confident that there's no one up here, maybe you paint a little bit in the bottom of mid, or maybe you rotate back to the left to your teammate and look for more to paint over here. But in general, just get your special ready, and then once your teammates are back, then you can do things. But if somebody does rush over to the right, like you are in the position where you're the one who needs to be watching that. But the thing is, like, if you're up here in street, you can still see that. So you should be able to still rotate over. Like here, you can be painting stuff like this, and you can throw a bomb at them. They rush forward, which your teammates probably should have been ready for. But so what really should happen here is, oh, your teammate's looking at mid and isn't seeing this play develop. Shoot, okay. So if your teammate had seen this, and that's something that they should be aware of at a higher level, then they're the one who stops this player from moving forward. But as it was, the only way that they survive is if you're putting shots on them. And you threw the bomb already. I don't blame you for that at all. That's a play I would have made. But good job using the right side of this wall for cover here once they cross you up. Now, once you're missing shots, it's probably a good time to move. That's kind of a habit that you want to start developing so that you walk and shoot less. Like, you miss a lot of shots here. At that point, try to move before you get your aim on again. If you've ever played dualies in any capacity, you know how you have to set your aim to adjust for when you're dodge rolling. So, like, you're going to roll to the right. Well, that's going to throw your aim off to the right. So you have to adjust to the left when you dodge roll to the right. You want to start developing that ability so that when you swim a short distance, you know where you have to set your aim again. And if you start successfully developing that, what's going to happen is you're going to reset your position. Your opponent is going to have less of an idea of where to set their aim than you are going to have about where to set your aim, because you knew how to adjust for the movement you made, but they're still in the same place and trying to react to which direction you're going to move. And you knew which direction you were going to move before you even moved there. So you have initiative that way if you move and then start firing again. Now, it turns out that they just have no desire to kill you at all. They got right on top of you as a sploosh and decided, you know what, I'll just let them live. And so that's what they did. It's the only way that I can kind of justify that decision there. They do turn around now and start pushing in. And this is the danger of standing this close to this ledge right here. This is what I was worried was going to happen earlier on bridge, and then a little bit later as you're trying to right side peek around this wall. If there's a sploosh right underneath here, you just cannot see it at all. And, oh, they're right on top of you already. It's kind of the same principle as earlier when I was talking about the charger player being too close to the mini. You have range advantage on the sploosh, and you need to keep that in order to have any kind of advantage in this fight, because it splats faster. So as soon as they get on top of you, they've won, and so you need to position defensively enough that they never get on top of you before you're shooting them. So good follow-up by your GooTuber player. This guy's kind of popping off. Nice. Wait, what? So there's some paint into the basket. Oh, right down there, you can see enclosed some blaster shots going down. I don't blame you for missing that. I missed it the first time too, because I'm just not expecting that. But yeah, 2 shots that you can see on screen. It's very subtle, but it is there. And that is information that we could, in theory, have used. Now, the Clash Blaster does a silly and decides to drop down onto the entire team. If they just stayed up there next to the car, now nobody is defending the basket, and their teammates could potentially jump in. There might be clams for them to be able to throw in from there. So they would have done a lot more good for the team if they had just stayed up there and used the height advantage. But as it is, they just score a power clam and die and give you guys another pity clam. Your teammate is already pushing into the enemy basket. This is a little bit fast on their part, but as soon as you see, your power clam holder going that hard, maybe try and push closer to them to follow up with them, because they're going to need your help if they're going to score anything here. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Even at the very least, maybe firing some missiles over there gives them something to work with, but yeah, this is not a great play on their part, especially, seeing that the teammates weren't reacting to it. But maybe if you react to you're able to make at least something happen. Maybe trade back a pick or something like that. With the basket open here, if you're going to try and score, instead of coming all the way back around this way, I would have just swam up this wall and seen if I could get into street. Because if you can do that, that's going to be a lot faster than swimming all the way back and around. It might not be safe, but what you can do is sit in the wall paint and look over the top before you hop over to make sure that it's safe. And if it's not safe, well, you wouldn't have made it there in time anyway. Because you can see, you're swimming all the way across the bridge here. You're going basically as fast as you can. You're not even having to stop and paint, and you still never get close enough. So the wall was your only chance to get any scoring in there. Just sit on the wall, look over, see if you have a chance. If you don't, maybe fire some missiles, but that's about the most you're going to be able to do with this play. Okay, so the enemy team, it looks like they're beelining, and you get in perfect position to stop them. Great read on their movement there. With a player here, I'm probably just drop down off of bridge to get there faster, or maybe stand on the rail here to watch it faster instead of going all the way around here. But you've got exactly the right read and you catch it out. Because, yeah, here you're able to help your teammate on the left if that's where the fight ends up happening, I guess. But even if your teammate completely goes down there, you still have time to get in their way. Ample time to get in their way. You're basically already in their way. So committing to being off the bridge, not the worst idea. Here, you back up. There's no reason for you to be backing up right now. There's only one other player who could be anywhere near. And if they haven't shot at your teammates already, there's no place in front of you that's going to be unsafe. You can just go and help finish this fight. Because if your teammates miss all of these shots, which they shouldn't, but if they do, then you've basically just let this player get into your closed for free. And as a rule of thumb, trusting your teammates is RNG. Trusting your teammates is there's a small random chance that it all goes wrong. So, all right. So we don't, again, want to puppy guard these clams, but what we should be doing is painting further out so that it's harder for them to get to them. And right now, the way your camera is held, all you can see is stuff that you already have painted. Get vision on where the opponents are actually going to be. Get vision to your left. Get vision above, you know? And I see that you're starting to move over here, but as soon as you see this power clam move and light up, you got to be like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Somebody is going to like score on me. Because like they just picked that up from right under your nose. And you're lucky that that's not going in the basket right now, because it was definitely not you that stopped it. So you do get someone with the missiles here. And this player is dropping off a ledge into enemy ink. Now you take a minute to get your aim on. You overcorrect a little bit to the left. Again, if you're gonna, well, okay, this is a Clash Blaster. Honestly, so Clash Blaster is one of the few weapons where I almost feel like in a situation like this, the best idea is to walk and shoot. Because here's the thing, the Clash Blaster has a really big blast radius, and it's going to paint your feet if it hits you. You've already been hit once, most of your feet are painted. The advantage that you have, though, is that you out DPS it. You splat this weapon way faster, especially if it's not hitting the double directs. But even if it hits double directs, I think you still splat it faster as a splatter shot. So if you just focus on getting your aim on here, and as long as nobody else joins the fight, and I don't think anybody else is, because they're still over here with special, you should probably just like try to work on winning the fight there. And getting your aim on so that you can splat them before they splat you. That's the way that I approach that matchup. That's also the way that I approach a Tetradually. I don't know if that's the way that a top-level player would look at it, but generally I find I have had more success doing that. So be interested to hear in what someone like, you know, Kalana or Dio thinks about that. But that's my take on how to approach that fight and give yourself the best likelihood of getting a clean pick. So they score somehow. We don't really see how. We've put ourselves out of play of that ever since we let the power clam go by. But now our team has a whole bunch of power clams, and we're just all picking them up. I like the idea to jump. It goes so the way that you get this jump off faster is as you're opening the map up, you already anticipate where you're going to need to put your cursor to jump into these people. So like I'm already aiming up and left as the map comes up so that I'm looking at these people as soon as I possibly can. I'm not like hovering here. I'm already like, okay, I know I'm going to need to go this way, and I'm jumping to them as quickly as I can. Because there's a possibility that you pick this up and have the map open fast enough, if you just make the call fast enough, that you can actually get into this player who gets splatted and dunk that clam in before they go down. Now you're going to land behind where you're able to throw it. So your best shot here is you want to make sure your feet are painted. What I would do is fire maybe a few shots in front of me with the up-down motion so I have a line. If they paint that line, I back up. Or if they're attacking me, I back up. The bomb is not going to help me get to the basket, nor is it going to protect me from these players. I need my feet painted so that I can get away, and I need the route either to the basket or away from them to keep myself safe. Because you have neither of those, you lose all of your time, and you're never able to get this power clam into the basket, and you actually end up throwing it and dropping it in a really dangerous place that you have lead, so I'm not as worried about that, but what I am worried about is that your teammates feed to try and save it for some reason. And your teammate looks like they just snuck in the back door and they are able to score to end the game. But it was a little bit risky at the end there because they did have a power clam and they did have basically a full wipe. If they had actually moved and like gotten through mid, they might have been able to jump that power clam in before anything happened and get a scoring push going. And they didn't have that far to go before they had lead. It was only a power clam plus 3. And what was their penalty? 10? So a power clam plus 27? Or no, a power clam plus 17. No, power clam plus 27. It's 10 plus 7. Power clam plus 17. So that's power clam plus 6. That's not a huge push. That's something where off of an advantage like that, they're probably going to be able to get that. So that was a little worrisome at the end, but generally worked out. So, you know, you're top fragging. You're showing that you're recognizing some movements that they're likely to make and cutting those angles off. You're using your missiles impactfully when you do use them. You could definitely be getting more of them. Again, anytime you're unsure of what to do, instead of sitting in your own ink, the answer is to be painting more. So find somewhere to paint, and that will kind of generally lead you in the direction that you should be starting to move. Now, you don't want to push too far into that, so that you, especially if you're, you know, down at a numbers disadvantage. But you basically weren't ever at a numbers disadvantage during this game because you had a DC. So generally, you have the opportunity to be playing more aggressively, and the more aggression you put out, the more paint you put down in enemy ink, the more special you're going to get, the more advantages you're going to be able to win with those specials, and so on and so forth. It's a virtuous cycle. So hopefully that has given you some ideas. Number one, when you are confused, just paint and get special and collect more information. Number two, always be careful about areas where you don't have vision of your opponents. If you ever approach them, just expect that there's somebody there and know that you're taking a risk. And number three, with it's kind of a thing with power clam play. Take off angles when you're trying to score, and try to work on your clam throwing mechanics. Things like being able to jump in and throw the clam faster. Things like knowing where you have to stand to aim so that you can take advantage of opportunities more rapidly than you would than other players at this rank are going to be able to. All right, we did it, and we're only 45 minutes over time. That's a win in my book. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We are going to get going on the raid for Twitch. YouTube, we aren't able to raid things, but if you want to take part in the raid, feel free to hop into the Twitch channel now, and we will fire one of those off. Thanks again. Great advice. Appreciate it. I'm glad you're finding it helpful. Okay. So we're going to go and raid Rafa, and guess what, guys? We have a raid message. We're going to be raiding by saying, "School's out." I think we actually used this one on Rafa already, but that's fine. It's on brand.
School's out, everybody shout.
We're doing it. School's out, everybody shout. I like that. I like that. So hold on. Oops. Put an exclamation mark at the end of that.
I'm adding pom-poms.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So everybody copy and paste that one. Or if you have Devi's emote, I guess you can copy and paste it with Devi's pom-poms emote. And we're going to get the raid going. Alrighty. So, here's my link tree in case you want to find anything else from me. My TikTok, my Patreon, the Twitter account, the Discord server where you can find me and DM me if you want a VOD review. All of those things can be found at that link there. So if you want, make sure to click that before the raid starts. Also, make sure that you have copied and pasted the raid message so that we can get going. And thank you one final time to all of our VOD reviewees today for being willing to be told everything that they're doing wrong in front of so many people. That takes a lot of courage, and I respect the heck out of them for being willing to go through with it. That shows that they have a good learning mindset, and that's really all you need in life. So, off we go.